All right, we are live. Yes, I'm here. I'm back. Every weekend, baby. Let's try and see if we can do that every time, every weekend stream. And maybe on a weekday, maybe so very slightly, maybe. But weekdays I'm very tired. So, anyways, we're gonna talk about the Charlie Kirk stuff because, yeah. And as you can see, the title of the stream, if you're watching the stream VOD, probably pissed a lot of people off, but it also probably made a lot of people happy because this comparison that I'm making is 100% valid. And the reason why it's valid is because it's true.
Coded Wirawansaga 4Fa17D.
Disgusting. Disgusting. Anyways,
Botrix. Botrix has correctly joined the channel.
How did an actual bot beat my bot? That's funny. That's hilarious. But anyways, yeah, Charlie Kirk being compared to Martin Luther King. Yes, that is what I'm doing, and that is exactly how it's going to be because that's exactly how he should be remembered. True, 100%. Charlie Kirk didn't advocate for violence. What nuts? Like, he literally advocated against violence and only wanted to debate people and talk to people in the like his whole thing for like since he became like popular is to tackle everything out in the I forget exactly how he worded it, but like in the like something of ideas, the fight for our ideas or something like that, like words basically just like, I mean, Martin Luther King's whole shtick was like non-violent protesting for civil rights and stuff like that. So they're both equivalent in the non-violent part. They both had their own message that they wanted to push. The whole thing that makes, like, there's a reason why the First Amendment is the First Amendment, and they were doing the First Amendment in spades, which means they are both should be remembered as free speech advocates. Free speech advocates, non-violent advocates, and using your words to the max to change people's minds. That is how they were. That's basically both of their shticks. Basically. Now everyone's gonna be like, oh, they're like some people on the right will be like, well, Martin Luther King had some like not so good things about him, and then people on the left will say the same thing about Charlie Kirk when they finally dig up his past and try and find some skeletons that he has. But like, those things don't matter. Those things don't matter. No one's perfect. Everyone's human. Like,
worse nary. They couldn't debate him to change his mind, so they took his life. Rip Mr. Kirk.
Yep. And it's sad and terrible. And actually, I bought something that's gonna be hanged up behind me forever, and it'll be I think it was like the Charlie Kirk Never Forget shirt or something like that. And I got an extra large just so it's nice and big because I'm never gonna put it on, and I'm gonna put it like just hang it up behind me. That's gonna be a thing that's gonna sit there forever because no one should forget. Like, Charlie Kirk deserves to be in the history books. Deserves to be in the history books as a Martin Luther King-esque type figure. That is what I'm going to push forever. And the whole, I'm not gonna lie, the Charlie Kirk assassination thing kind of radicalized me a little bit. At least with my rhetoric on this. Like, I know probably a lot of black people are gonna be like, you're going to compare Charlie Kirk to Martin Luther King? What? How dare you? And I'm like, well, obviously you have no idea how much of a free speech advocate.
Worse nary. Good for you. Dr. King's words were powerful.
Yep. And I wanted to go over some Charlie Kirk messaging that he's been espouting and to show like why this is why like they deleted a guy, like how terrible this is and how equivalent he is to compared to Martin Luther King Jr. But I haven't dug into that. Maybe we'll do a little bit of that. But with all that being said, I have to there's a beginning of this clip video, and you know, I'm gonna talk about him. Yeah, that's Destiny. Yep, himself. Yep, we're gonna talk about this dude. This guy right here. Let me see. Do I have it? Yes, perfect. Yep. We're not gonna watch this video. We're not gonna watch this video because to title of this is they're using Charlie Kirk's death to make things worse. Yes. Yes. That's yeah, everyone else but Destiny is doing that. Yep. True. Now, let's watch the beginning of this clip because the beginning of this clip really shows what's been actually wait, hold up. Let me fix everything. Yeah, cuz I have things set up in a specific way. Input manually cuz I forgot because I was a little bit I was distraught. There we go. All right. So we're going to play this and we're going to listen to the first little bit of this. And then just I want to show you something.
I want a rejection of the movements that openly create the permission structure to do violence.
What is the permission structure to do violence? How about doing violence and then having the president of the United States pardon all of you and your crony friends for it? Isn't that kind of like a structure of violence?
Lauren Boebert.
Okay, so something that happened. We're comparing something that happened in 2021.
I'm not going to like this. Yes, it's very upsetting time.
Yeah. So, well, let me just break down that little propaganda piece that Destiny just put out there for the first 15 seconds. So he's comparing something that happened in 2021 to something that he did in 2025. Okay. All right. Yeah. That's exactly what everyone thought was going on. Yeah. True. That's exactly what everyone was thinking about. Like, yeah, Trump obviously pardoned those people from January 6th because he didn't it had nothing to do with like maybe Biden pardoning his son or the like crazy investigations into the January 6th people that literally just stood there. There was a lot of people that were like just, I guess, mostly peaceful protests, right? It was a mostly peaceful protest because less than 50% was violent. So it was mostly peaceful. And Destiny would use that same retarded argument for the BLM riots. Like, well, yeah, most of it was fine. Like, there was a little bit of rioting, but like most of it was fine. And so what? It happened for a couple of months and lots of billions of dollars of damages. Like, that's nothing. That's nothing compared to the one single day of violence at the Capitol. Nothing. Yeah, that's way worse. That's way better than the single day or the single couple of hours that Trump literally said 3 hours later. It's like, hey, actually, guys, you should leave. And what did they do? They left. Like, that's exactly what happened. Like, this is insane.
Where's Neri?
But he would make that comparison.
One died on January 6th. BLM, how many?
Yeah, way more than one. Well, I can say that. Way more than one. Also, the BLM movement also created the whole Chaz Chop thing where it was like the demilitarized zone that people ended up like... There was a couple of people that ended up dying because of, I think, one died of malnutrition or something like that. And and there was some gun violence as well because they had their own weird private security, military, whatever, because it was a demilitarized zone because they wanted to leave. This was back in 2020. Yeah, so Trump was still in office, so they were like, oh, we don't like the government, so we're gonna leave the government and be a demilitarized zone or something like that. And a couple of people died in that. That was also a spawn off of the BLM stuff.
They never talk about Chaz/Chop.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, because Chaz is just like, we only want to talk about January 6th because that's it's the worst thing since what? Not even a year ago of the whole BLM violent thing. Okay, all right, good one. It's bad. January 6th is bad. Violence is bad. But like saying that January 6th is worse than months and months of violence and death. Like there was a police officer, the David Dorn guy. He was trying to like protect like this guy's stuff from being stolen, and the guy literally, as he was like trying to get like, because I think he stole like a TV or something, and he was running away and he was chasing after the dude because like you're not supposed to be stealing people's stuff, and then he just gets shot and killed because the guy wanted to take a TV and he wasn't gonna allow him to steal a TV, so the guy that took the TV ended up shooting and killing him. That was also a part of the whole BLM stuff, like. But nah, that's not that bad.
Where's Neri?
Not that bad.
Didn't they say Jan 6 was like 911 times Pearl Harbor?
911. I know, but 9/11. Yeah, it's the over exaggeration on the left for what the right does is insane. It's disgusting. But we're only 15 seconds into this, so let's continue. This wasn't the main point that I want to bring up because I do have another video I want to show that perfectly resembles what Destiny was trying to say in this.
Then got up and asked for a prayer to be said aloud, and many Democrats objected because apparently, if you're not going to do that for other victims of assassination, then you shouldn't do it for Charlie. Just
Like, how performative is this? Oh my God, you had a moment of silence. Why are you asking for a 30-second prayer next? This is also why.
Because he's a BLM figure. I mean, no, sorry. He's an MLK figure. Sorry, that was a really bad misspeak. Holy crap. BLM, MLK, I mean, the only thing that connects the two is the skin color, and that's probably why I ended up saying that. Sorry, I misspoke. But we were talking about BLM a lot, so my mistake. I am sorry. But Martin Luther King is not compared to BLM. Not even the slightest. The only connection is the skin color.
Hello 67. I'd love to join your live stream.
No, get out of here. Go away. You're disgusting. Leave. Delete the message. Boom.
I say you never capitulate to these actual soulless demons.
Yeah, I find it to be kind of interesting taking a step back.
Oh, it's a soulless demon to ask for an extra 30 seconds of prayer. Huh. Good one, Destiny.
Or so, and seeing how many people are coming around to the inevitable reality that this is the only path forward. There are so many people in society now that are just completely unhinged.
Anything but telling the president to calm the down. Anything but that. What should the messaging on the left be moving forward if the right are going to be retarded? I think every single person on the left should just say over and over again, has Trump called for both sides to turn it down? And that's it. Literally, that's it.
He did. Oh, he did.
Worse, Neri.
So,
I don't think demons pray.
true. That is actually very freaking true. But guess what? But you know what? This Charlie Kirk thing really, really kind of soured my opinion on Destiny. I'm not gonna lie, because I used to defend him, like all the exaggeration nonsense over his law stuff, and try to like stay away from kind of stay away from that and wait for the courts to be like thing. But I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not going to completely flip my position on that, but I'm sympathetic to the people that are. I'm less sympathetic to how he's being dealt, and how the over exaggeration stuff that's messing up his
Neri.
life.
I won't be on for long. People over plus this enrages me too much at the moment.
Yes, but here, this is the thing that I really want to get to push. This last little clip.
What should the messaging on the left be moving forward if the right are going to be retarded? I think every single person on the left should just say over and over again, has Trump called for both sides to turn it down? And
he did. And he did. And you know when he did that? On when? September 10th. What happened on September 10th? I think someone got assassinated on September 10th. How close was that to the event? Oh, so basically maybe what? An hour or two. When he was pronounced dead. Yeah, this is when this came out. Okay, so listen to the rest of this clip.
that's it. Literally, that's it. I look to the president for guidance on my rhetoric, and I'm looking to see if the president has said that everybody needs to pull back.
Yep, okay. And let's see, what did the president say?
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people.
True.
He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth.
Yep.
Charlie was...
Yep, he was very influential. Oh, influence. Oh, you know what I'm trying to say.
Also a man of deep, deep faith. And we take comfort in the knowledge.
Oh, you know what's insane about this video? You know what's insane about this video? Not the video itself, but I actually I found a video talking about this, right? And it's literally the same video, right? But it's saying Trump Charlie Kirk update. US president jumps frames in an AI-like 4-minute video. Is it fake? What? Is it fake? What? This is insane. This is actually insane. Like they're trying to say that the good thing that he was saying, like the message that he was saying is that it's fake. Oh, it's an AI generated thing. I'm like, bro, that's bullshit. Get out of here. Like, hold up. Who is this guy? E Times? This is retarded. This is retarded. This is disgusting. When did this come out? September 11th. Oh, this came out September 11th. Ah, interesting. Okay.
That he is now at peace with God in heaven.
But I'm just showing you that there's some crazy, disgusting people out there that are saying, oh, well, look, listen to this. But actually, you know what? Don't listen to this because it's AI generated. Like, he said all these good things, all these things that Destiny was saying that, oh, I look for the president for guidance. All right, so this is the president for guidance. But then Destiny could easily write it off as like, well...
Hey, homie, I checked your
No, I don't get her. Get out of here. Get out of here. You're messing up my screen. Get out of here. Disgusting. Anyways.
Prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation.
Dark moment for America. You know what that implies? It means that what happened to Charlie Kirk should never happen again. That's what that implies. Come on, Destiny. You're looking for the president for guidance and rhetoric, right? It's a dark time. And you know what it means to be in a dark time. It means to not continue the dark time. Unless you're retarded and you're like, well, actually, Trump is saying we should continue this dark time. Okay, then I guess you're just so, like, Trump brain broken that you're just going to continuously say that bullshit. But obviously, what we should assume from when he says this is a dark time is that we don't want to be in dark times because no one wants to be in dark times. I feel like he would be the one.
A light went out that will never be on again.
Yep. And we kind of have to just move on. And but as we move on, Charlie Kirk becomes the MLK figure. True.
Joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate.
And that's essentially me taking up the flame that went out and holding it up and presenting it as it needs to be remembered, basically.
His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody.
Worse, Nary. It's hard tea.
Ever. To share his love of country.
Hard times, yep.
And to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals.
Yep. The left has been doing that. Yep. They've been continuously doing that. And now they're like, well, we need to turn down the rhetoric, guys. And I'm like, yeah. I wish you would have said that before Charlie Kirk died. I really wish you would have said that. But you know what? It's better. It's good that you're better late than never. It's better late than never. And it's true. It is better late than never. So there's obviously some redeeming qualities there. But like, it's very easy for you to say that right now. Let's just say that. And I accept the argument. I do accept the argument. So the only thing that we should be doing is taking up the torch of Charlie Kirk remembrance and comparing him to MLK Jr. and make that stick in the history books. That's the next step. And that should be the non-violent next step, because Charlie never wanted people to be violent because of his death. You're basically like he would die in vain, basically, if people started getting violent over Charlie Kirk's death. That would be a bad thing to do. That would be worse than just annihilating Charlie Kirk, I think. So, yeah.
This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today.
Yep.
And it must stop right now.
There you go, Destiny. You wanted some guidance. Right? Right, Destiny? I muted it.
Forward, if the right are going to be retarded, I think every single person on the left should just say over and over again, has Trump called for both sides to turn it down? And that's it. Literally, that's it. I look to the president for guidance on my rhetoric, and I'm looking to see if the president has said that everybody needs to pull back.
Okay, all right, and let's go back maybe 10 seconds.
And criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country
Mercenary.
today.
An eye
and
for
it
an eye.
must
It's not a path we should walk, but sigh.
Yep.
stop right now.
Yep. Yep. True. Should stop right now. True. There you go. There's your guidance, Destiny. Fucking retard. He's not going to listen to him, obviously. That was just such a cope bullshit argument that he made. That's why I'm not going to watch this hour and 20-minute, hour and 6-minute thing where he talks about, oh, the right is making everything worse. They're using Charlie Kirk's death. Yeah. What? Asking for 30 seconds of more prayer?
Mercenary.
That's making
Well
it
said.
worse? This is retarded. And then he's like, then he clips Chimp's Asmongold as if this is supposed to be...
forward. There are so many people in society now that are just completely unhinged.
Anything but telling the president to calm the down. Anything but that. What should the messaging on the
Yeah. This messaging right here. Yeah. Trump, you're being way too radical right now. Saying that the left has been using the calling people Nazis, which leads to like terrorist attacks. Yeah, that's so radical, man. That's untrue whatsoever. That's never happened. It's super radicalizing. Like, bro, this is retarded. Like, what?
My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country.
People were definitely didn't they like indict like Trump's like lawyers? Yeah, that is a thing that's going on right now. So, or maybe they stopped when he came into office, but that did happen.
Attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year.
Oh yeah, that
which
did
killed
happen
a husband
too.
and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets.
Oh, but you don't get it. But Destiny, we had to make fun of the guy that died there, Corey Compertor. Yeah, the firefighter. He went to a Trump rally, and you know what? Trump stands for bad thing. And since guy went to place that had bad thing, we can make fun of it. Yeah, true. But the right's escalating and doing more violence. Oh, okay, true. Yeah, good one, Destiny.
Sandwraith03. MRW.
You're disgusting. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry, I had so many bots come in. I was about to curse you out, and because I thought you were a bot, but then I read your chat. Okay, you're a normal human being. My God, I saw the Charlie Kirk video. The neck has a lot of... Yeah, it's so bad. It is very bad. It is terrible. Thank you for the... Oh, bro, I was about to flip out on you.
Sandwraith03. My God, I saw Charlie video. The neck has a lot of blood like a faucet.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was disgusting.
Sandwraith03. No, I'm not a bot.
Yeah, I know. But I had a couple of bots, and I was about to flip out. But you know what? I read your chat before I banned you, so we're good.
Mercenary. I won't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it. It really is bad. Like, someone showed it to me when I was at, like... a coworker was like, yo, Charlie Kirk just got shot. And I'm like, no. And then he showed me the video, and I'm like, no. And then he showed me the close-up video, and I looked away when I just saw the splattering. I looked away as soon as I saw the splattering. I was like, nope, can't watch that. That's too gruesome for me. That kind of scarred me a little bit.
Of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others. Radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country.
Yep.
An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come.
Yep.
Today, because of this heinous...
Mandatory Charlie Kirk in all the history books right now. Do it. In the curriculum right now. We have MLK in the curriculum. We also need Charlie Kirk's name right next to it in the curriculum. True. 100%. That needs to be a thing. That needs to be on the tests. That needs to be a thing that people know and remember and grow
Where's
up
Neri?
on.
Good speech by Trump.
Yes, based, true.
This act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
True. True. All right. But okay, look. See, now that was such a really good video. It was such a powerful video. But then we got people like we got these retards with 26K. Wait, how much? Wait, how many views was this? 800,000. Okay, good. More people, a much higher percentage of people saw this video that Trump made versus the is this a fake AI video? Is this a fake fake ID video? With only 136 likes on this thing. It's retarded. This is actually retarded, but and it's only 3 minutes, so he doesn't even watch the entire thing. But it's like, oh look, guys, you see how the hand movements? That's AI generated, guys. That's AI generated, guys. Like, this is retarded. Like, I'm not even gonna watch it. But like, you know, you could just read the title. Like this is actually like retarded. Like, look at this. See, look, real feelings or unreal efforts. Like, what are you saying? And then they zoom in, highlight his face. Whoa, it must be AI generated, guys. And then we go to the hands. Oh, look, the hands. Oh, see, you zoom in on the hands and it's all blurry. Bro, that must be AI generated, right? Like, bro, like, you're just, like, people that don't understand how cameras work or how frames work, it's just, like, they see this stuff and they're, like, just actually retarded. Like, the same thing happened with the Israel-Palestine thing that I went through. Like, the guy literally frame clipped a bunch of stuff saying, oh, those things that happened where Israelites were getting deleted, that was all AI generated stuff. Like, look at this frame here and then look at the next frame. It looks all weird and stuff. And then literally we played the video with the audio and then we hear that a bullet literally shoots the van and then the van like vibrates because like when you get hit by a fast moving object, it shakes everything a little bit. And that was the weird distortion because it's a low quality camera. But I guess people don't understand how cameras work, which is so bad. It's so bad. It is so. Look at this. Look at this. This is literally an AI video. That's not Trump talking. It's so retarded. So retarded. So retarded. Oh my God. All right. We're done with this. Let's see. What are we gonna do next? We're not watching this. This is stupid. We gave it a thumbs down. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Wick panel. The Wick panel. All right. We're gonna watch this in all of its glory. Because I think this dude did make some really decent points. But it's 3 hours long, so we're gonna kind of chill while we watch this. We're gonna chill while we watch this.
10 minutes early?
You
was 5
said you
minutes
were going to be
early.
10 minutes early, right? Okay.
Well, I was hoping to be on a lot earlier, but
Sure. Everyone
Yeah.
else said, is the screen black? Can you guys not see me?
I got the screen pulled up. I see it.
Yeah. It should be working. If it's black on your end, I don't know what to tell you.
User error.
Yeah. But yeah, how was your day? How you been? Okay, Destiny will be here in a second. He's got his camera up. He'll undeafen in a minute. Okay, hello, welcome.
Oh, hi.
Where's Neri?
Okay,
Greetings.
I didn't get past when the woman spoke.
Oh, in this when Tali spoke, Tali came in. Yeah. Oh wow. 6 minutes. 6 minutes in. Well, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I didn't really watch the beginning of this. I kind of watched like little bits and pieces towards
Where's
the
Neri?
end.
Yeah, I was too angry.
Yeah, it's his arguments is it's insane. But you know what? I'm only here to make some little clip chimps of him because my respect for Destiny has dropped severely. So he deserves to be clip chimped, and that's what we're gonna do.
Tali and Dev will be here in about 2 minutes, but no need to wait. We can just kind of get started, and when they're here, we'll pull them in, and we'll just have a discussion here. So, without further ado, welcome. One and
Where's
all to
Neri?
yet another episode.
I should calm down.
Maybe,
No, because the difference is that
maybe, but actually, hold up. Let's see. What was it called? We're gonna chill. We're gonna chill. We need some confirmation bias. I have no idea what they're going to talk about. National Guard sent to Chicago, fascism or salvation debate.
Where's Neri? We don't talk about politics at work and my family aren't political. So it's hard to vent. So to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. You can be a little unhinged because it's kind of justified at this moment. Like Charlie Kirk just got deleted in the most gruesome way possible. A lot of people can understand that, and if people don't understand that, then they're well, that's the people you should stay away from. If they can't even understand that, then they're a lost cause, and they should be excommunicated from your life. Like people that don't understand why this is like a really bad thing, and why this is like a really bad thing, a terrible thing. They just don't deserve to be in your presence. They should exist in some other place. They are just negative people. Yeah, negative people. You don't want negative people in your life. So I don't know. What should we watch?
Served D76. I'd love to join your live stream.
Get out of here. You're See, this is what I mean by bots. They ask for your Discord name and everything. Get out of here. Disgusting. All right, we're gonna keep this up, but we're gonna do this. Tim Pool. Because if you say Tim Pool too fast, it sounds like you're saying temple. Like when you say Tim Pool too quickly, it says temple, and I'm like, bro, I really need to emphasize the Tim and the pool. Let's see. I don't really want to watch this. I want to watch the actual first media predict civil war in woke ideology. Yeah, R.I.P. R.I.P. This one. This was the first one. This was on September 10th. Yep. Right after that happened. So we're going to chill and we're going to watch this. It's going to be nice.
Today, Charlie Kirk was assassinated at an event in Utah. I'm sure most of you have already seen the news by now. We've all been talking about it quite a bit. The videos that emerged out of Utah are shocking. There is some news. The FBI states that they have a subject in custody. We don't know exactly what this means or what's happening.
Oh yeah, the subject that subject in custody, he got let go, but the guy did finally get turned in. Actually, you know what? Wait, hold up. Before you even since this is like kind of outdated. This is kind of outdated, and he does the news. I might as well wait. Hold up. I didn't mean to do that. I might as well do the updated version. No, I don't think they had. You know what? Let's just go up to date from yesterday. Yesterday, why not? But this one's kind of boring because Tim is not really here. Tim is kind of actually. You know what we should do? Because I want Tim to be on there. We'll watch the culture war debate thing, which is less newsworthy and more debate styled. Which I really wanted to just listen to some news, but we're going to switch to this. I'm being very indecisive
Ladies and gentlemen,
today.
welcome to the Culture War podcast. I'm your host, Tim Pool. We have breaking news as we start the show. A press conference just concluded. The governor of Utah, as well as the FBI and the sheriff, they have stated the man who killed Charlie Kirk has been captured. They explained in detail the engravings on the bullet casings, which, based on the how this individual was turned in, that is, he was turned in by a family member. They explained that the family member's personally had a conversation with the suspect, stating that Charlie Kirk had spread hate speech or hateful rhetoric. The bullet casings expressed furry memes, furry culture memes, it appears, as well as anti-fascist ideology, notably saying, "Hey, fascist catch," as well as "Hey, Bella Ciao," which is a song that was sung by Italian resistance fighting Nazis and fascists. So it seems to be that this is...
So literally the rhetoric of people calling everyone a fascist or a Nazi literally is the reason why he ended up getting killed. Oh, wow. Oh, interesting. Yeah. And the rhetoric of calling people a fascist because they're technically doing fascistic things. So we should call them fascists because they're technically doing something that's kind of like, the way that they're calling him a fascist is like, well, Hitler drank water and Trump drinks water. So Trump is kind of fascist because he's doing the thing that the fascists did. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you're kind of right. That is you. You're technically correct. But this is bullshit. And obviously he's not killing Jews or rounding up people and deleting them. Like, this is insane to even have a remote comparison towards Nazism. And look at that. Wow. Confirmed. The news guy confirmed literally that he died because of this disgusting rhetoric around calling every right-winger that likes to support Trump as a fascist or Nazi sympathizer or something like that. Yeah, okay, interesting. Proven right there. People need to stop. And Trump was completely correct in this 4-minute video.
The media.
4-minute video. Completely correct. Wow. Interesting. Who would have thought that?
Is, at least for now, based on the assessment by law enforcement, a left-aligned individual who assassinated Charlie Kirk. He has been captured. There will be breaking news that is still coming out throughout the day, so we'll be tracking that. Normally, we just...
This stuff just infuriates me. Holy crap.
Kind of have the general conversation. But we will be discussing...
Like, I've literally been saying this all the time. It's great. Good for you. You're technically correct. There you go. You win. I guess you win. And now your technically correct rhetoric made someone literally think that he's a Nazi, and now he's dead. And he wasn't a Nazi. He died for a lie. He literally died because of a lie. Charlie Kirk is not a Nazi. Charlie Kirk didn't want to round up any type of group of people to delete them because of their worldview. Like, it's retarded. Just like how Destiny says, "Oh, everyone's brain broken because of 9/11." Everyone's brain broken because of what they did in World War II.
Some people literally compare his death as the same as killing the mustache man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
nah, bro. He was just some brainwashed right-wing internet influencer. LOL.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. That's a much better argument than calling him an actual Nazi. Yep.
For this show, the underlying cause of the mental illness in this country, illness in general, what's plaguing us, but the political violence. And considering the response we've seen from the corporate press, as well as many prominent left-aligned and liberal individuals, which are either claiming both sidesism, glorifying the death of Charlie Kirk. I'm certainly, I have a lot of strong statements to make. And I'll start simply by saying, because it's personal and I want to say it, the amount of security that I have and other personalities in a similar space is incomparable to the amount of freedom and lack of security that our counterparts on the left have. That is, we spend millions, we have security perimeters, active armed guards, we face threats on a daily basis or more. I understand many on the left do as well, but I can just tell you, based on the events we hold versus the events we see on the left, the amount of security we have is substantially higher. I'm not going to explain in detail the security details of my friends and other commentators, but let me just start by saying the conversations with liberals and the shows that I know don't have 24/7 armed guards surrounding their homes for the most part, even among lesser-known personalities on the right. There are people on the right who are not as famous as Charlie and others who have to live under 24/7 armed guard and surveillance because of the threats that we face. We here at Timcast were swatted 15 times in 1 year. The bomb squad was deployed twice. Our studio had been evacuated mid-show. A man in a dress showed up to our property, for which it's an old property, we're no longer there, and attacked one of the residents as they were lurking around the property filming. There are many other.
And then people wonder why there's this whole negative rhetoric towards like trans ideology. Like okay, all right, good one. It's you need to stop. We had the school. Was it the school? Yeah, the religious school shooting turned out to be a trans person. That was kind of crazy. Not kind of, but insanely crazy. There was another school shooting that happened with I think no, it was definitely there was another school shooting that ended up happening, and it was because of a trans person. Like, it's there's a disproportionate amount of people that claim that they're trans doing these violent things. Like, it's like they're a tiny little subsect of the population, but yet we have more than one of them. Like, you would statistically, none of them should be doing this, statistically speaking, but we already have 2 that's confirmed, probably more, but I haven't been paying too much attention to that.
Other security breaches that we've had that I do not discuss because I don't want to explain how these people have breached our security. But let's just say it's resulted in prosecutions, law enforcement intervention, and it is a common occurrence for us. Considering what just happened to Charlie, we're all taking everything very, very seriously. But I am, of course, personally curious to understand where we are headed in this country, what is the underlying cause. And I personally just will not tolerate this both sidesism. A poll was released yesterday by Political Polls, YouGov data, showing that 77% of Republicans believe it is always unacceptable to gloat over the death of someone they oppose, while only 30% of Democrats share that view. In total, about 70% of Democrats believe it may be in certain circumstances unacceptable to gloat over the death of your opponents. About 90% of Republicans say in some circumstances it is unacceptable, with 77 saying it is always unacceptable. So when they go on TV and say, like Chris Cuomo did, he said to Benny Johnson of Charlie Kirk, "You guys are not victims. You give as good as you get." It is disgusting, and I won't stand for it. But forgive me for ranting as we launch the show. We have a big panel today, and I'll just let you guys introduce yourselves. Dr. Joseph, if you want to start first.
Yeah, sure. So briefly, I would just say I'm kind of like America's anti-psychiatrist. I have very critical views about medications. I talk about the interface of psychiatric drugs and violence. I also talk about the massive overprescribing epidemic going on in the country right now.
I got to get. Cheers for all the good.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
Salad Wurzel. Almost nobody cares about trans in countries like Sweden. Sweden basically said, be whatever you like and name plus dress as you like. We don't care. Everybody was happy and moved on. In America, it seems like Christian groups and trans people are literally at war.
It's insane.
Morning, guys.
And it's insane that people actually like for them to be such a minority in the country, like population wise. It's kind of wild that it's such a big, like, they're disproportionately like doing things, which is weird because like, and then people are disproportionately like, I mean, I guess that's what explains a disproportionate amount of like coverage on them, but it's still wild. It's still wild.
The complete insanity.
Good morning, Smurfy OG. Good morning.
About how we diagnose everyone with like brain illnesses when they're actually dealing with real problems. And so that is my shtick. And when I'm not doing that, I'm helping people come off psychiatric meds.
Right on.
My name is Laura Delano, and I am a former psychiatric patient. I grew up, spent the most formative years of my life, and I'm deeply invested in this idea that I had all these diagnoses and needed all these medications for life, and that my purpose in life was to go to therapy and refill my prescriptions. And the more I kind of internalized this way of understanding myself, the more my life fell apart. And I wrote a book about it called Unshrunk that I highly recommend.
Not biased whatsoever, but okay.
And like Joseph, a lot of my work is about helping people who've realized the mental health industry is not actually helping them, and they want to kind of take their lives back from meds and from kind of professional patient
Right on. Libya's here.
I'm Libby Emmons. I'm here. I'm actually really glad to talk about this with you guys. I have a son who's 15, and this has been something that's come up over the years with different educators and everything, and so I'm really interested to hear your insights.
Yeah, it's very prescient that you're here. Also, I've been inundated with this guy Chase Hughes. He's a psychologist and says like the psyop is left versus right. They want you to think of other. They want you to other people, and I think a lot of it is just people broken and distanced because of over medication. I mean, I do, but anyway, we'll talk about it later. We also have the man, the myth, the legend.
I don't know about that. The real legend of Charlie Kirk that we lost. Today's going to be...
True. Actually true. This guy's supposed to be like... He's actually like, he's kind of comedic. He's like a comedian almost. He doesn't say he's a comedian, but he's like a troll, basically. A big troll. But to see him kind of down is kind of weird. Not gonna lie. He's usually more upbeat. Like, way more upbeat. This is weird. But actually true. I actually kind of feel bad for him now.
And an emotional day. It's a very sad, tough conversation to talk about losing.
And that is
such an
it
important
is
person like Charlie. So
it is.
I'm excited to talk to you guys about this. But
you really don't sound like you are, but I understand.
I know that obviously we do have a mental health issue because it's just the overprescription of drugs, and you see the correlation with shootings like this. It's just so prevalent, and then the media doesn't talk about it. But I don't know in Charlie's instance, and I don't want to get into the conspiracies of it. But it's just,
suspect in the assassin.
Just a bad day, very bad day, Tim. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, I want to start by just giving people the quick update for those.
Holy shit! Damn, that guy really sounds like he's depressed. Holy crap! I actually. This dude never sounds like this. He never. Wait, let me show you how he actually sounds. What's his freaking name? Oh, what's his name? God, how do I forget his name? Alex Stein. Yeah, this guy. He pimp on a blimp. Hold up. Alex Stein. Video. Tim Pool. How did I spell it that way? That's funny. Tim. Culture War. Please don't be the exact same video. Okay, wait, it wasn't. Hold on. I want to show you. Like, he doesn't sound like this. This is actually kind of sad. Okay, maybe. Wait, what? Peace Goes debate and no. Okay, I don't. Why does this come up? I want a YouTube video, just a normal YouTube.
And I know he's a lawyer and he's pretty litigious, so I don't.
No, I want an actual video where he gets. Okay, this is retarded. All right, let's just go to YouTube.
And I know he's a lawyer and he's pretty litigious.
Alex Stein. Oh. Honoring the life of Charlie Kirk. Actually true. Maybe we should watch this. Actually, no, we will watch this. Let's throw that into the memory banks. And then, well, prime time with Alex Stein.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know what you're seeing is a little different than usual. Today, you're not getting the world's greatest debater, Charlie Kirk. Instead, you're getting the world's greatest libtard debater, Dynasty. I play video games every single day, and Minecraft has taught me how to freaking eat.
Okay. Wait, when did this come out? 5 months ago? All right. But yeah, you can kind of see that he's kind of a troll. But like, wait, this is not what I want to show. Alex Stein, Tim. Oh, I want info before this whole debate. Alex Stein's meltdown. Guess during the Israel debate. Come on, when was... Oh, damn, this is old.
This story on Newsweek.
This is old. The old producer was still there. Holy crap. 3 years ago? No. Oh my god. Whatever. We're not gonna... I literally just want to find Was he on this? Oh, please tell me he was on this. I just want his intro.
Timcast.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Timcast IRL. I am your guest host filling in for our boy Tim Pool. He is out of the hospital. He's just got a hair transplant. So when next time you guys see him, he's going to have a full head of hair. I know it's been a while, but that hair, it takes a minute. So Tim's going to be looking like a superstar very shortly. But before we get into this tonight's show, we got to...
He loves Tim Pool, but he's a freaking troll. Holy crap.
Very special guests. We got, some crazy women, some smart women, some beautiful women. I do want to shout out cashbrew.com. Guys, go support the Pimp on a Blimp and Tim Pool and the whole entire crew here, Serge, Phil, the guys that work so hard, and go buy a little bit of this American-made coffee. None of that Chinese bull crap that probably has fentanyl in it that's going to give you some sort of heart, murmur. That stuff's not good, but we got the cleanest, purest.
He ain't got to roast him like that.
Yeah, he ain't, but I understand why he does it. He don't have to, but I understand why he does it. That's why it's so weird to see him so down like this. This is actually kind of wild.
The media doesn't talk about it, but I don't know in Charlie's instance, and I don't want to get into the conspiracies of it, but it's just,
suspect in the assassin.
Just a bad day, very bad day, Tim. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, I want to start by...
it's so sad. That's the only reason why I brought it up, because I was trying to find, like, how he normally is versus how he is now. It's really sad. I understand it. I understand it, but I wanted to juxtapose that so people could understand.
I just giving people the quick update for those that are tuning in. Normally, as I mentioned, this is typically just a conversational debate podcast on topics not so much news related, but I want to get started by showing this breaking news report. They've revealed the language that is on the bullets, the engravings. One reading...
Charizard Master 1738. Howdy.
Hey.
Just catch. One reading, oh, Bella...
Your name is ultra freaking long to read when my AI thing is like reading it out. It's kind of wild, but... So, try not to talk too much. Let's just say that. But, you can say whatever you want.
Chow, one reading, if you read this, you are gay. Now, interestingly, and this is very interesting, this is CBN, did not include the other engraving, which said, notices bulge, OWO, what's this? And so I want to make sure I can pull that up. And the reason, this phrase is going viral, the reason I think people are not mentioning this is because, let me see if I can, Know Your Meme, I think, has the news. I think CBN and other outlets don't know what this means. So when they heard that, they thought it was random nonsense. Know Your Meme says, notices bulge, OWO, what's this? This is the original meme referenced by Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk's alleged shooter. And it's furry porn reference, and that's it, right? So we have Urban Dictionary, and it says, quote, snuggles and pounces on you and notices bulge, ooh, what's this? And we also have the reference to Bella Ciao. Hey, fascist catch is particular.
It's so wild that Temple's going into this, but I guess it's. I mean, obviously it's necessary because this is literally the dude that deleted Charlie Kirk. So it sounds very weird and very like, why do we need to talk about this? But this guy literally deleted Charlie Kirk, so we're trying to look at the ideology of this guy.
Particularly obvious what that means. So this individual apparently was at home having dinner with family. The family was expressing disdain for Charlie and the things he had been saying. And that, as well as the inscriptions, the opinions expressed by the individual, I think it is beyond a reasonable doubt, at least according to the evidence presented, this individual was Antifa-aligned, leftist-aligned, and targeted Charlie for his politics.
Yep.
Now, we're hearing a lot from the media, from these personalities. Chris Cuomo had a viral clip where he said, I do not see you as victims, you give as good as you get. That's his quote. I believe he apologized. Political polls says, YouGov data, 77% of Republicans believe it is always unacceptable to feel joy at the death of someone they oppose, while only 38% of Democrats share this view. 33% of Democrats think it's usually unacceptable, whereas only 12% of Republicans. That is, the majority of Republicans say it's never acceptable. It's always unacceptable. And among those on the democratically aligned who believe it's either always or sometimes acceptable, 11% compared to Republicans, 6%. And 4% of Democrats believe it is always acceptable to gloat over the death of a public figure they oppose, while Republicans are at 2%. I'm curious what you guys think about the state of political violence.
Interesting how that didn't shift. Interesting how the right didn't get radicalized in that, and it was the left that ended up getting radicalized because someone on the right died. Interesting how that shift didn't happen in the way that it was supposed to, or how you would logically think it would happen, you know? Or how it would intuitively, like, change. Interesting how that happens.
Violence, obviously, I've made my point several times already.
It's almost like one side is a little bit more, you know, radical than the other. But, I don't know.
That it is clearly lopsided. The left is either substantially more willing to engage in the rhetoric. They're doing it now. They're gloating over Charlie's death. And I'm going to stress this, even with the opinions people have expressed about George Floyd on the right, when George Floyd died, every conservative...
Charizard Master 1738. The sheer number of lefts moving to the right is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and this is why. This is why. Like, this is literally why. Like, people are waking up to how radical the left is, and it's just accepted.
Shapiro was saying, this is bad, it was wrong. When Charlie dies, they post memes saying he got what he deserved. Or they're selling T-shirts, and they're saying, debate this.
I was sad about Floyd. I mean, the whole thing was tragic. He was in the front seat I think he was high with kids in the back seat, and he was in the driver's seat. That was terrible, terrifying on every level. But, like, I'm thinking about Muammar Gaddafi and the way they gloated over his death because of the way he treated them. And, like, in war, you're kind of glad when the enemy's gone, like, and maybe the soldiers don't gloat. I would have to ask people that have actually killed for a living or that do this, like, this is like their thing. I think there's no joy in what you do. It's just, it has to be done. But there's also like a relief that comes when the enemy is no longer, because you're no longer you feel no longer threatened. And I don't think that the domestic situation calls for that. We're not at war with ourselves right now. And there's no reason to create that energy.
I mean, we've been hearing messages from left-leaning media for a long time that, you know,
they've been calling people on the right fascists, people that are Nazi adjacent for a really long time. This is just bound to happen. Like, this is just obviously this was going to happen. But I guess Destiny, this retard, this guy, he apparently doesn't. He's so smart, but he doesn't understand that. But he still likes to spout off like, "Oh, people are just keep calling them Nazis and fascists because technically in the dictionary these words actually mean that he's kind of doing fascistic things. So calling him a Nazi, calling him a fascist, it's close enough. It's close. It's not 100% correct, but it's technically correct. So we're gonna keep continually calling that, and then he ends up dying because someone associated him with being an actual Nazi. So it's just like it's so I'm so infuriated by that.
If you have certain opinions that are, you know, not, you know, the usual,
and I will still defend Destiny in certain circumstances, but I'm much less sympathetic to his issues now.
Kind of woke talking points. You're a fascist and you're dangerous and you should be silenced. And I think if you keep on hearing that stuff, after a while you feel emboldened to act on it. And you feel like you're actually doing something good when you're really doing something horrific.
Have you noticed any correlation in your career with giving people psychiatric medication that they will do, or that someone that's medicated will tend towards like a dissociative lash out of some sort?
Yeah. And so all of these medications, and I know this is covered up in a big way, all of these medications have the ability to make people violent. And this is not even hidden. This is already in the drug labels. I mean, we're not talking about common side effects. We're talking about rare things that happen. And then the analogy that I usually use is you could have like 10 people smoking cannabis. One person becomes paranoid. The rest of them are giggling and laughing. And so you can have these unexpected reactions to things. And when you have like 15% plus of the population taking SSRIs, over 20% taking psychiatric medications, which are already known to cause violence in the FDA labels, you're going to get these 1 in a million cases that happen where you have people, they'll engage, they'll kill people. The homicides will happen, suicides will happen. And it's completely covered up. The media does this out of a place of, it's like almost compassion, but it's kind of twisted because we need to be talking about these things. They say you can't talk about the link between violence and psychiatric meds because you're going to scare people away from life-saving medications.
Right, but there's a big concern with that, which is, I mean, I've watched these drug ads, and at the end they say may cause anything from diarrhea to suicide. And personally, I don't want to take a drug that does either of those things.
Yeah, and the insane thing is, especially when we're looking at the population who is below 25, who are the most likely to have side effects, you look at the clinical trials, there is a higher rate of suicide attempts in the people who are put on these medications. So at a population level, you're more likely to try and take your life if you're put on an antidepressant than if you're given placebo. It is insanity giving these medications out the way we are to kids right now.
I guess the argument would be that they're already suicidal, which is why they're going on psychiatric meds to begin with, and that they were already more likely to do it.
That's not really what happens. I mean, so I brought up my son as an example, who's a healthy, jovial 15-year-old boy, and when he was just in, I think it might have been pre-K. He was in pre-K. He was going to this school. And he kept getting in trouble. He was always getting in trouble. And I was getting called in to the office to talk to the teacher. I was getting all these notes home all the time. Well, he's running in circles at circle time. And I was like, well, that kind of makes sense, right? I mean, it's circle time. Like, what's circle? He's supposed to sit on a circle and be quiet and just sit there. And I was like, okay, you're calling it circle time. He's running in circles. Like, maybe he's just smarter than you, number of times it was...
True.
He doesn't want to sit still. He doesn't want to do his assignment. He wants to jiggle around in his chair. Have you considered getting him evaluated for ADHD? Have you considered this and that? And every time me and his dad were like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Well, would you consider it will help him in school? Maybe he needs a prescription. And we were like, nope. Maybe have more recess. We're not doing any of these things. And it was shocking the number of times that they insisted to us that this happy, healthy, rambunctious, excited for life, jubilant little boy was like a problem. And all of the things that they were telling me were a problem are like signs of life. There was never any issues. And in fact, like he told me recently that as a kid, he would sometimes have like emotional outbursts, right? Who doesn't? You're a little kid. And he recently told me, he said, I'm really proud of how I have my whole emotional situation under control. I worked on getting that under control so that I could react the way I want to and not the way, that I just do off the spur of the moment. And I was like, that's the goal. That's awesome.
It's so typical of what we do in the U.S. With the mental health system. I mean, we want to put problems in people's brains, rather than actually like looking at the school or the society or the problems going on in the families or all of these things. It's so much more convenient to say, Libby, your son has a brain disorder. It's ADHD. You don't need to look at anything else, at least not our school and our programming, and that is not interesting to your son. Go and see him to get evaluated. And that is exactly what's wrong with mental health in this country. That's why it's getting worse, even though we're using more and more drugs than ever before. That's why suicide rates are higher, because it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say, as someone who grew up medicated, I was put on these drugs as a kid, and I took them through my teens and my 20s. What makes it especially insidious when it comes to medicating and diagnosing kids is that you don't yet have a baseline sense of who you are. You're just coming into yourself as an autonomous, agentic being when you're hitting puberty, as I was when I was first medicated. And so you don't even realize, having been on these meds for basically a decade and a half, I had no idea what I was losing and what I never got access to because I had no baseline to refer back to. I didn't have, decades lived and then started a medication in my 40s and then realized like, wow, I'm kind of losing touch with my sexual function or my personality. I had no baseline. And I think a lot of this, like, I'm not going to speculate about psych drugs in any of these killings. It's obviously so complicated. But what I can say for myself, having been heavily medicated, having tried to kill myself in a very extreme way in my mid-20s, is that a lot of this, I think, is about disembodiment at a deeper, like, spiritual level. Even I think you can't wish violence against someone else or be happy when someone else is killed unless you are out of touch with your own humanity. You cannot dehumanize someone else unless you yourself are dehumanized. And I do think that the psychiatric drug issue, while I'm not going to, say it's causing anything, I think it's a big piece of this puzzle, because with so many young people growing up medicated, growing up disconnected from their instincts, from their capacity to feel.
Okay, it's good that she's not going to, like, instantly blame people for being on drugs for why we have why the Charlie Kirk thing ended up happening. Yeah, she's not going to try and say that, which is good. Good on her. But there is definitely a argument to be made that if people were more mentally stable, Charlie Kirk probably wouldn't have gotten deleted. Like, that is obviously true.
Empathy, to feel compassion. That was my experience. I'm not saying it's the experience of everyone on these drugs, but I know I'm far from alone. And, to think back to that moment when I made the decision to kill myself, total sense to me. It was perfectly logical.
Can you stop saying that? I don't want my channel to get deleted.
Given the story I was believing about, having this incurable brain disease, like Yosef said, like the reason I feel this way isn't because of my relationship to the world around me. It's because I have
Oh. My internet cut out for a split second. I think I'm back, maybe.
faulty brain chemicals. I've tried all these meds. I've seen the best doctors everywhere. I'm still getting worse. There's no point in going on. I truly believe I would not have reached that point of choosing to kill myself were I not disembodied, fundamentally disconnected from myself. And it's not just medications that do this. It's so many kind of facets of our society: social media, digitally mediated relationships, food, big food. You could go on and on, all the ways for disembodied.
Laura, I want to pick up that thread about, like, what we don't want to do is get to a place where we're just saying.
And remember, this is Tim Pool. This is on Tim Pool's show. This is the type of conversations they're having in this 2-hour podcast. Actual, real conversations that matter. And then we got Destiny here. Basically making
sort of Wick TV. It's a cross ideological space where.
Hold up.
Or he was even elected? Or was it right after he was elected?
Yeah, but to finish.
So how
it
was
August 2016. Oh, wait, actually, wait. Let's make it a more fair comparison.
I roll.
Where is it? No. Oh, yes. No. Actually.
Messaging on the left beam moving forward if the right are going to be retarded.
I want a rejection of the movements that openly create the permission structure to do violence.
What is the permission structure to do violence? How about doing violence and then having the President of the United States pardon all of you and your crony friends for it? Isn't that kind of like a structure of violence?
Lauren Boebert then got up and asked for a prayer to be said aloud, and many Democrats objected because apparently if you're not going to do that for other victims of assassination, then you shouldn't do it for Charlie. Just
like, how performative is this? Oh my God, you had a moment of silence. Why are you asking for a 30-second prayer next? This is also why I say you never capitulate to these actual soulless demons.
Yeah, I find it to be kind of interesting taking a step back for a week or so and seeing how many people are coming. around to the inevitable reality that this is the only path forward. There are so many people in society now that are just completely unhinged.
Anything but telling the president to calm the down. Anything but that. What should the messaging on the left be moving forward if the right are going to be retarded? I think every single person on the left should just say over and over again, has Trump called for both sides to turn it down? And that's it. Literally, that's it. I look to the president for guidance on my rhetoric, and I'm looking to see if the president has said that everybody needs to pull back.
Many people on the left have not been careful about this at all. And they've incentivized what is a rising tide of violence that makes it nearly impossible to speak freely in the country. If Charlie Kirk can get shot, anyone can get shot for speaking their mind. That is where we are. That is why it is empty verbiage when I hear the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, blaming President Trump for a quote-unquote new era of political violence and selling us soft words about the supposed increase in political...
I hate him as a human being now, right? Like, literally, I think I can do that. Right? I don't know if I would. Charlie Kirk would probably say the same. I'll preemptively and posthumously, I guess, hate him as well. Like you, dude. I don't even need to speak hypothetically about this. I do. Right? Like this type of is just increasing the chances of me getting killed. Right? I'm sorry, but you are a weak man. You are morally incompetent. You are religiously failing. You're supposed to be some, stalwart Jew or whatever. You should be able to tell the president of the United States, hey, buddy, why are you blaming the Dems when we don't even know the shooter? Can you never, ever, ever, a single time tell your side to calm the down ever? You guys are supposed to be the better people. The bigger man. You never are. Libs always have to be the bigger man. Always. Why? Like, you. Like, now we're actually getting killed. It's supposed to be other people getting killed. Now it's us. And you still can't tell people to calm down? Unreal.
Rhetoric.
And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it. We've seen the January 6th rioters who clearly,
So you think it's just going to keep getting worse? Yeah, it should be. Why wouldn't it? I mean, like, what is the signal being sent over and over and over again? If you're a Republican, you think all the violence has been from the left. You don't think anything that happened to the Republican side has ever been a Republican's fault, right? J6 was just a Fedsurrection. Trump pardoned them all because it was unfair. All the shooters have been, even if they're registered Republicans.
Have tripped.
They do. Like, Democrats have done this over and over and over and over and over again. Why don't you go ahead and roll?
One examples.
Biden's speech versus Trump's speech.
Threat to them. Why do you not do that? Why do you not do that? And I will tell you, I do not see a reaction that is on the social media right that matches the reaction on the social media left to the new.
Are you serious? How many people on the right? Well, we're watching it. That's what we're going through now. Have called for revenge, that we need to rise up and fight against, that we need to. Like, there's been so many unhinged tweets from people on the right today.
Wait, hold up. Let me just throw this here. And I have an example that counters this instantaneously. Blaze. What's this? Charlie Kirk. Seriously. Charlie Kirk. Let me see. Is this? All right. Was it this guy?
Hello, Liz.
Oh, yes.
Hi, Glenn.
I spoke to you yesterday, and we were both pretty raw at the time. How are you doing this morning?
I'm in a fog of grief, Glenn. I think that a lot of us are. I feel it still feels very unbelievable.
All right. There's a specific quote that I'm looking for. Transcript. No. No. Martin. Wait, is this not the video? Hold up. Oh, this might not be the video or the clip.
Another friend of Charlie Kirk's and a good friend of our program and mine, Steve Dace, who followed.
More grunge. No more, we're too cool for school. No more, well, everything sucks.
Was it this? 1 day ago?
Yesterday was such a surreal.
Luther. Seriously? Okay, so this is not it. Martin Luther King. Bro, where is it? There's obviously... Okay. I know what I need to do. I need to go on X and search for it. No, I don't care. Oh, but I need a transcript. I can't just watch a 2-hour thing to find that one clip. I know this guy said it. I saw the clip, but I'm trying to find it. Gang was up.
Some of the other implications of this. We're a truth-seeking show, but I can say declaratively, this guy is not worthy of a national holiday. He is not worthy of godlike status. In fact, I think it's really harmful. What do we have, guys? Rough greens? I want your thoughts, and I wanted to make sure that, after that conversation, we talk about the positives, and then we also get into some of the other implications of this. We're a truth-seeking show, but I can say declaratively, this guy is not worthy of a national holiday. He is not worthy of godlike status. In fact, I think it's really harmful. What do we have, guys? Rough greens? Roughgreens.com. You've heard me talk about Rough Greens. Now it's
Okay, so they clip-chimped him and they played it in the middle of him talking in a sentence. So, like, we have no idea what he said before. He probably said all of these, like, really good things, and then now at the very end, he's like, well, remember, he's not all good, guys. Like how every single other human in the world is. Good job. Good job. I guess people want to focus on the tiny little things at the last little 40 seconds of information that he says at the very end and completely forget like the hours long of like podcasts that he does. Like, okay, all right, good one.
I want your thoughts, and
literally in the middle of him talking. Wow, okay. Good.
I wanted to make sure,
good, great, cool.
That,
he technically said like bad thing about Martin Luther King. Wow, okay, good for you guys. Oh my god. Oh, Glenn Beck, is that his name? Glenn Beck, Charlie Kirk, Martin Luther King. Where is that clip? Is it this?
Because of what he died doing, Charlie Kirk is a civil rights icon.
Okay. Boom. This is the clip I was looking for. But first, actually, I'm gonna lower my stupid volume. We're gonna go back here. We're gonna move myself here. Let's see. So that's there. This is here. All right. What did he say again?
Watching it, that's what we're going through now. I have called for revenge versus Trump's speech.
Threat to them. Why do you not do that? Why do you not do that? And I will tell you, I do not see a reaction that is on the social media right that matches the reaction on the social media left to the new.
Are you serious? How many people on the right, well, we're watching it, that's what we're going through now, have called for revenge, that we need to rise up and fight against, that we need to... Like, there's been so many unhinged tweets from people on the right today and yesterday. How are you saying?
Yeah, and there's also so many unhinged tweets and rando people talking about negative things about the left as well. Yeah, good one, Destiny. Yeah, we're going to take the randos of the right and say that's exemplary of, like, what all the right is. But when people take the crazies on the left, they're like, well, actually, those left people, they weren't guy on the right. So let's see, what does he have to say?
It's time to call him what he really was. Because of what he died doing, Charlie Kirk is a civil rights icon. Charlie Kirk was a...
And I 100% agree with this, too.
...civil rights leader that was martyred standing up for civil rights. And it is time that our side declares that and stands on that and claims that territory. These so-called civil rights leaders that have been around for the last 30 years are jokes. They're money hustlers, they're dividers, and they have nothing to do with civil rights.
No, wait, hold up. If you say that Martin Luther King is a part of that group of people that you're saying, then I will disagree with you hardly.
Martin Luther King was a civil rights leader.
Okay, all right. So he says that he was okay, all right.
Luther King was that man. RFK Jr. could even be called a civil rights leader. JFK.
RFK... Maybe. I guess.
Could be called a civil rights leader. They led the way. Everyone else was just playing it for cash and for power. And
actually, no, true. For RFK. I don't know about what did he say? What?
Was that man leader? JFK.
I don't know about JFK, so maybe he could be correct on that. I have no idea. I didn't look into this.
Could be called a civil rights leader. They led the way. Everyone else.
But I'm changing my mind actively on the...
Julian here. Cheap followers on streambo.com. Remove the space.
Get out of here. Disgusting. Deleted. This is what I mean by bots. Get out of here. Don't do chat.
Was just playing it for...
But this is what I meant. I'm changing my mind actively on the RFK thing. I was hesitant on the RFK thing, but now I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe he might be a good...
Hey.
He might be a good candidate for...
I'm enjoying your stream, BTW.
Okay, you're interrupting me. And, okay, alright, so this guy, is gonna get blocked. Yeah, don't listen to him, guys. Keep getting interrupted. I'm gonna have to play it again.
Led the way. Everyone else was just playing it for cash and for power.
Yeah, if RFK was only doing this because of the money, obviously destroying, kind of breaking his reputation with the Trump people for trying to get money for obviously the money play isn't to agree with Trump. Let's just say that. Like, we saw Elon's companies and what happened to Elon's companies when he decided to be a part of the Trump crowd. Money's going down. Tesla went down a little bit. And that's downplaying it a little bit, not gonna lie. But yeah. So if RFK is doing this for the money, then obviously he picked the wrong way of doing it. Like, that's kind of insane. So yeah, RFK actually does truly believe what he wants to believe, but I think Charlie Kirk is a much more... I think Charlie Kirk deserves the what do you call it? I think he deserves it more to be an icon towards... I think he's closer to what an MLK is than RFK Jr. I think he's much more closer than he is. But They both could be, but I'm not really going to make that argument.
And I'm sick of it. Charlie Kirk died, called a civil rights leader. They led the way. Everyone else was just playing it for cash and for power. And I'm sick of it. Charlie Kirk died standing up and trying to show people how to exercise your civil right in a civilized manner. And they gunned him down because of it. It's time to start calling him Charlie Kirk, the civil rights leader.
Yes,
It's
true.
time to call him
based.
what he really was.
Yep.
Because
100% agree. Yep, 100% agree. Good point. And yeah, yep, true. 100%. Let's get back to this other video.
Saying this, what social media?
Oh yeah, so now we're gonna juxtapose that to being like, oh, they're just trying to make things worse. Yeah, calling Charlie Kirk a civil rights leader is obviously making everything worse and not lowering the tensions, man. True.
Unhinged tweets from people on the right today and yesterday. How are you saying this? What social media are you on? Destiny, you say this, but then say civil war won't happen? Whenever I said civil war won't happen, I feel like that's the path we're on right now.
News of Charlie Kirk's death.
No, the reason why he used to say civil war won't happen is because Tim Pool said that civil war was going to happen. And he hates Tim Pool, so he doesn't want to agree with him. He's so petty when it comes with his arguments. It's kind of hilarious. But honestly, let's go back to the actual other thing that we were watching.
Anytime a mass shooting happens, it was due to psychiatric medications. I mean, I'll speak for myself. Clearly, there's an element of social contagion going on with these events. I may be unpopular by saying this, but clearly the availability of guns, you know, if someone is highly unstable and there's a lot of guns around, they're grabbing a gun, they're not grabbing a knife.
Yeah, but real quick, the last 7 trans shooters were all on hormones.
Well, that's the thing. And so
or like SSRIs too.
Yes,
yeah.
they were all on pills.
And so, you know, Laura was talking a moment ago about feeling disembodied on psychiatric medications. And when experts have looked at this and they say, you know, how do these drugs make people do this? Part of it is emotional blunting. If you blunt someone out with medications, you're going to blunt morality, you're going to blunt their conscience. They're not going to feel that same sense of responsibility. It's the same way that these drugs can lead to suicide. Many people don't live on people around them, but if you turn that way down, they're going to be way more like, you know, many people can feel like, you know, what's the point of living? I'm not feeling anything. They don't think about the consequences. And
there was a very interesting, I know we were all talking about Charlie Kirk earlier a couple of years about faith and being, you know, a person of faith living in a large liberal city. I was in New York at the time, and a young woman stood up and she said something that was absolutely fascinating. And I've been thinking about it, you know, pretty regularly for about 3 years. And she said, I don't think that we've really comprehended how far kids who grow up in liberal environments are removed from values. So, for example, when I grew up, the word soul was a very weird word. Like, that's something that weird people said. So when people had to try and express their internal tumult, they would use words like I'm depressed or I'm anxious, or they would assign some sort of medical value to it. Another example is the way that people who grow up in liberal environments get a sense of purpose and meaning from being part of the Democratic Party or having, you know, being part of a rebellion, she said, or even as we see now, people celebrating their mental illness and saying, oh, that's my, you know, I'm a little autistic coming out. That's my ADHD coming out. That's my childhood trauma coming out. That's I have PTSD from one time my teacher yelled at me coming out, or whatever.
That is true. That's a good analogy, actually. They're replacing, like, their purpose with other things that probably isn't a good thing to replace it with, but they still do it, so.
And she said, you know, that's what she was saying, and this notion that the soul has been replaced with perceived medical conditions or mental conditions. And then this morning during the press conference with Governor Cox in Utah, one of the reporters said, is there any indication of mental illness? Do you find that perhaps we have taken what used to be meaning derived from faith or from, you know, a community that has moral grounding, to this other much more amorphous
We're lost
situation.
I mean, yeah, I think with the decline in religious community, people are lost. I think they're lacking purpose. And when you go online, and you could say it's liberal politics. It could be like the trans community as well. It could be having a mental health condition. I follow social media a lot, and so I see things going on TikTok, and these are communities that people are drawn into, and they're kind of celebrated, especially on the left, where there is this, there's a social currency almost with being a sexual minority or being someone with a mental. You are victimized, and we're going to bandy together, and we're going to fight against the injustice. And so I think that you can have vulnerable people who are confused, who maybe don't have something like God and religion, get kind of pulled into these places to feel like they're a part of something.
Yep.
Yep. And the horrible.
True.
To fill that place inside that's empty.
Yeah, so to
That
me,
is
a
true.
lot of this is about the ubiquity of medicalization, just as you were saying, Libby. We live. I think over the past 70 years, and I go into this in my book because when I was writing, it's mostly a memoir, but I realized I have to tell the bigger story of the American mental health industry here to understand what happened to me. I have to investigate the bigger story of our country and how over the last 70 years the rise of the mental health industry has kind of infused our meaning-making apparatus as a culture with medicalized discourse. So the deeper spiritual or existential or philosophical language that we, until a second ago in the span of human history would use to understand ourselves, gets slowly replaced with lists of symptoms and clinicalese and just sterile jargon that gives the illusion of self-understanding. Because I cannot tell you how much relief I felt at the beginning when I did embrace my various diagnoses. Oh wow, I can look at this list of symptoms. Yep. Oh my gosh, this is me. This is where I belong. Now I can feel validated and understood. I belong. And as Joseph was saying, and as you were saying, Libby, the fact that we are yearning for that speaks to the void in our culture of community, of a sense of belonging.
Yep.
And it makes me think of the philosopher and writer.
I remember they're having this conversation on a Tim Pool show. Yet I guess Tim Pool is still he's just a Russian agent. You're watching Tim Pool, the guy that did for Russia? Yeah, they're talking about actual conversations and actual things that need to be talked about. These are actual, this is not some rage bait nonsense. This is them talking about serious topics and actually trying to get to the root of stuff. But Tim Pool's isn't he a Russian guy? Didn't he take money from Russia? What? It's so stupid. It's so stupid how people just write him off like that. It's retarded, actually. They believe their own conspiracy theories and then say that Alex Jones is a terrible person. And I'm like, bro, you believe in you guys have your own conspiracy theories that you think about all the time. Stop pretending that you guys are actually more you're better. You're better, but yet apparently you're not, because you decide to call. You still believe in conspiracy theories, just like how the right believes in their own conspiracy theories. You're not better than them. You're just doing it in a different way.
Social critic Ivan Illich, who was a former priest, who wrote about how, all these various kind of industries in our culture, whether it's the medical industry or the education industry, they set out and kind of promote themselves as being these helping institutions that are going to solve XYZ problem, but they actually end up perpetuating the very problem that they claim to set out to treat. And in the case of health, he called it this idea of medical nemesis, that the medical industry has kind of claimed this monopoly on what it means to be human, what it means to suffer, to struggle, to yearn, to feel desire. It's monopolized how we understand that for ourselves, which then monopolizes what you do with it. Because if you have a mental illness, then the only logical thing to do is to get treatment from a medical professional. But if you're having an existential crisis or a crisis of faith or a crisis of loneliness, then the solutions, quote unquote, are not necessarily going to be medical. And I think that's a big part of this.
So the issue that I think we have in this country is that mental illness is often stated by the right as an easy answer to a a state of physical brain construction among large swaths of the population. That is, many of these people that are on the left, and I'm not saying it's only the left. I'm just saying we see it predominantly on the left. It is not that their brains don't work; their brains are perfectly functioning. They just believe things that are not true. And so we've had this discussion before on this show as well as Timcast IRL.
Yep. Like, people legitimately actually believe that Trump doing these things that are technically actually a little bit fascistic, it means that Trump is basically a Nazi. Yeah, people actually believe that retarded stuff. Yeah, that is true.
The difference between someone who is suffering from paranoid delusion, schizophrenia, somebody who might say that out of the corner of their eye they always see little men trying to steal their stuff, and a voice tells them to chase them around, things like this. I had a friend who told me that she had a camera orbiting her body that was placed there by the government that spied on her, and she could see it floating around her, and she knows it's there. And she was being medicated. That is easily pointed out as, okay, there is something wrong with your brain. But what happens when someone is raised in a culture that tells them something as insane as, you can't see the camera floating around your body, but trust us, it's there. They don't actually see it. They don't hear anything, but they still live in this world where they believe the government has been implanting invisible orbiting cameras around them, something we know to be absolutely insane. There's no way to treat a form of developed psychotic delusion. I assume that you could always make an argument there is. I mean, what, deprogramming someone?
Pulling people out of a cult, that kind of mindset.
But we're talking about people who, if we go back to Donald Trump coming...
It's possible. It's just extremely hard. It's just very extremely hard to do with just words. It's very extremely hard to just do with just words. If people are bought in, I mean, I guess you could just... I mean, the best way to do it is to get people to admit they understand why the other side feels the way that they feel. But then, in the same breath, the other side needs to know how the other side feels as well. So, like, there needs to be a give and take for that. Understanding is the key, because people aren't going to change their opinions, but you need to make them understand, or you need to make them say that they understand why the other side feels the way that it feels. They just think that the other side is just stupid for feeling that way. And that's a perfectly opinion to have. But once we get to the point to where that happens, I think, because like right now we're at the place where people don't understand why the other side is doing these things that they deem like really bad and stuff like that. And that's why we're so polarized, and why Tim is saying it seems very hard to be able to do that, but that's the way to do it. Like, you have to, I think the only way to fix this mess that we have is to agree to disagree and move on, because for the majority of political discourse, it's not that bad. But obviously, what happened to Charlie Kirk is extremely bad. But for most of it, it's not that bad. And we need to like tone down the rhetoric and keep continuously saying it's not that bad. But they're literally making it that bad by literally deleting people. So it's kind of hard to say that it's not that bad when people are literally dying because of their political views. Like, it's hard to make the argument now.
Coming down the escalator. The saying goes that every 7 years, every cell in your body has been replaced. We are our own ship of Theseus. If anyone alive today has lived in the world of the corporate press, which is still right now lying, you know what? I want to pull up one of these lies. Every fiber of their being is screaming things that are not true. How do you actively? There's nothing you can do. Let me show you this tweet, for instance. ABC News tweeted, well, President Trump has called for an end to political violence following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He did not recognize or acknowledge the recent deaths, violent attacks, and killings of Democrats. Completely false. And as you can see with community notes, President Trump publicly responded, offering condolences after the shooting of 2 Minnesota lawmakers. ABC News, this is not an accident. They have editors.
Oh, so they lied. Okay, interesting. They lied
with community notes.
So another point to why Destiny's a freaking liar when it comes to this. Like, look at him. I know we're just watching the same part over and over again, but I need to drive this into people's minds that Destiny is actually like completely brain broken and unhinged in this.
Saying this, what social media are you on? How many people on the right? Well, we're watching it. That's what we're going through now. Have called for revenge, that we need to rise up and fight against. That we need to. Like, there's been so many
And then, wait, hold up. Let's go back to what he said in the teaser.
Calm the down. Anything but that. What should the messaging on the left be moving forward if the right are going to be retarded? I think every single person on the left should just say over and over again, has Trump called for both sides to turn it down? And that's it. Literally, that's it. I look to the president for guidance on my rhetoric, and I'm looking to see if the president has said that everybody needs to pull back.
Many people on the left have not.
Yeah, okay, so you're looking for guidance for the president. Oh, what did the president say? Let's see.
President Trump publicly responded, offering condolences after the shooting of 2 Minnesota lawmakers. ABC News, this is not an accident. They have editors. They have teams of staff. CNN the other day, when the news broke from Steven Crowder that the bullets were engraved with anti-fascist and trans ideology, the Wall Street Journal confirmed this through their own source. CNN reported it was cultural issues engraved that were being analyzed. So there are people who exist only in that space, who are told every day, Charlie Kirk hates black people. But that's fabricated. It's not real. Charlie Kirk,
bullshit.
In one viral video that was actually recommended to me on Instagram, referred to a black child as a gift from God. This man was not racist.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do when we are dealing with a mental illness that was intentionally programmed by activist organizations to put people into a state of paranoid delusion that there are Nazis around every corner? There's no medication that will change that because this is a programming issue.
I mean, this breaks my heart because, I mean, the solution really was to have Charlie Kirk, because he was going out there to these universities and he was putting in FaceTime, having people like listen to him about these issues, having difficult questions, difficult conversations. And I mean, and that's what we really need more of. We need to humanize the other side. I love social media for that, although, I get censored, and I know a lot of people do get censored for having these things. But I think the more we can break away from ABC News and like CNN and these places that have just a very, to me now, it's a very obvious narrative to serve their base rather than trying to be helpful and actually see things in a logical, rational way. The more exposure that we can have and get these ideas out there, I think that will de-radicalize people. I think they will wake up to it slowly. And
the more we remember Charlie Kirk as a Martin Luther King-esque figure, the better and the less violent we'll get. Because as you can see, when Martin Luther King got deleted, things didn't get worse, things got better. So we need to make Charlie Kirk into that, so things get better, not worse.
And I think it is happening.
I do think so. I'm. It's tough. I want to be optimistic. Following this brutal assassination of a political leader and friend, I was hoping that your more moderate or default liberals, who do believe things that are not true because of, as I described, would be shocked to see such a graphic and horrific incident. They weren't.
They weren't shocked at all.
I have friends, people that have...
To be fair, oh my God, I got so many tabs open. These guys, Wick, the Wick TV show. They were, Wick being a he's a liberal, being on the left. Tali being a liberal on the left. Or maybe more moderate than on the left. Wick being the moderator of this channel, Wick TV, he is definitely trying to tone down the rhetoric. And Destiny, him also being a so-called liberal as well, trying to pretend that he's on the same side as Wick, is or trying to pretend that he's a liberal, is actually being basically saying that Wick is bad for actually trying to tone down the rhetoric and stuff like that. He's like, oh no, that's a bad strategy, so we need to do what they've been doing and increasing the rhetoric and stuff like that, because like you guys haven't been doing that the entire time. But it's just I just wanted to point out there are people that are liberals that are, I would say, pretty. He's not really that prominent, but you know what? I like Wick, so he's prominent in my eyes, and pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. But like Tim, you're not completely right about that. But I guess you can't really count someone with only 8,000 subscribers as a prominent person on the left. But he has such a big Discord with people that actually chat and stuff like that are all really timid and actually really good faith. Like, if you listen to the Destinies of the world, don't listen to them. They're not. He's literally, if you want to make a space analogy, he's like a planet without a star system, and he only has moons that orbit him. Like, that's it. He's somewhere out in the abyss. His thoughts on political discourse is completely irrelevant. Like, this guy literally thinks that these two people are insane and we shouldn't be talking to them at all. Or these two people are insane, or these two people are insane, and we shouldn't be talking to them at all. Like, it's just, in his eyes, it's like completely stupid, and he thinks it's crazy that we're even having this conversation in the first place after like someone literally died. Like, he's talking about political violence, and Podesta's making an argument, oh, I can't believe we're even having this conversation right now. It's not like someone literally died. Like, it's so stupid. So, yeah.
Known for years that work in Hollywood, that are prominent liberals, they're activists.
So I kind of disagree with what he's saying here, but I understand why he says it.
They weren't shocked at all.
I have friends, people that I've known for years, that work in Hollywood, that are prominent liberals, they're activists, but I always consider them to kind of be normie default libs that they post your generic talking point. And I genuinely believed yesterday that many of those people were going to be like, this is not okay, stop. And today I woke up and looked at Instagram stories from people that don't spend time in politics. They only just, they post a black square profile picture for George Floyd. They'll repost some activist talking point. And I'm seeing several videos being shared by many of these individuals who are well known, justifying the death, saying things like, Charlie got the world that he wanted, so be it. Saying things that Charlie Kirk wanted to kill you, so they killed him. Saying things like, this is a man who genuinely hated black people and wanted them dead. All fake, all lies.
Yep, bullshit. Like, why would I like him if he actually did say that? That's retarded. It's so stupid. Anyone that's actually making that argument is retarded, actually. True.
And these were supposed to be sane, rational people that I knew, that I could still talk to. And I don't know how we move forward. Right now, there are posts on X with 20 million views of people saying, who's next? He deserved it.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to what you were saying about what happens when you are raised in a culture that tells you there are invisible cameras circling your body, and you have the delusion. What happens when you're raised with delusion? And you also mentioned that these are not people who are particularly involved in politics. So what happens is they hear from trusted sources like ABC or MSNBC or the others that Charlie Kirk is a fascist, that this very Christian man who espoused peace is hateful and evil, right?
Or he's responsible for school shootings.
Or he's responsible for all of these things.
Pro-Second Amendment, and
This man
I think this guy was political. He dressed up as Trump for Halloween.
No, not this guy. I mean, like, in general, the people who are on social media saying this stuff, they're not steeped in politics, but they believe everything that they've heard that's negative about Charlie, and they've never looked into it themselves. Look at stupid Stephen King, right? He espoused this whole thing.
Stupid Stephen King. That's a good name.
Of like, Charlie wanted to stone gay people or whatever, and then everyone was like, you are wrong, look at the clip. Look at the clip.
He's got a viral post saying...
And he had to apologize. He apologized, but like, that's not going viral.
He actually said that he couldn't stand the people that were trying to gatekeep the movement and keep gay people from the conservative movement.
Exactly.
Charlie did everything he could to lift up black.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they clipped chimp Charlie Kirk and misconstrued what he said. Sounds like something that Destiny's been going through for like the past, 6 months. Misconstruing a bunch of stuff that they said about his lawsuit stuff and then twisting it and turning it into something. I wonder if he could relate to that. I don't think he can, because he's such a politically partisan hack on this thing, and he assumes that everyone else is a political partisan hack, and it's just messed up. Like, this is why I'm not going to be sympathetic when people misconstrue Destiny's and changes what and like change the context around his whole legal lawsuit stuff and be a little bit defended for him, because like he's literally just unsympathetic, like 100%. So like, why should people be sympathetic towards him? Like, he gets what he deserves, honestly, at this point. But I keep comparing to Destiny because Destiny is a person that I watch, and I respected him, and my respect is slowly disappearing ever since the whole Trump assassination attempt and his comments towards that. That was kind of disgusting for him to do. And actually, let me give this analogy on the way that I feel about Destiny. So imagine that Destiny is a plane, right? He's a plane. He's flying at 32,000 feet. And let's just say he's flying. The plane represents his political relevancy and respect in the political sphere. He's flying. He's doing his things. Oh yeah, look, see, I got him right there too. I might actually take his poster down because of his comments. Maybe I might, but I'm gonna keep it there because maybe he's just being super unhinged because he's going through this whole legal process through the courts with the whole Pixie stuff, and it's messing with his brain, and it's hard times for him. So he's probably just lashing out and just being unhinged because he's going through some really difficult times right now. But regardless, he's a plane. His political relevancy and respect. He's at 32,000 feet. He's high. This was during his Ben Shapiro debate, when they had a really nice debate that apparently Destiny doesn't think was a good debate anymore. But I think it was a good debate. It was pretty nice. And he's flying, and then the whole Trump assassination thing happened, and one of his engines caught fire. So, and you know what happens to a plane when one of their two engines get caught in fire, right? They got to lower down to an altitude and maintain a lower altitude because they just physically don't have enough thrust. Because if they turn off the other engine, they got to throw the fire suppressant into the engine so it turns off the engine so it doesn't burn up and burn the wing up with it. So that's what they did. They turned the engine off, fire suppressed it. It was on fire. It's not on fire anymore. He leveled off at around let's just say 25,000 feet instead of 32,000 feet, right? So he's cruising at 32,000 feet, and then he decides to make fun of the... Oh, there we go. And then he decides to make fun of the people that... the children that died in the Texas flooding. Yeah, he decides to make fun of the kids that died in the Texas flooding because it's a red state, and they made policies that were bad. So if the policies are better in the red state, then maybe they wouldn't have died from hashtag VPN. They were trying to get deleted by, like, everyone knows the tweet joke tweet that he made right after that happened, like hashtag NordVPN. Or hashtag Destiny, hashtag NordVPN, or promo code something. I don't know. His joke was just, he says that it's a joke, so I'm just going to say it was a joke. Obviously, it wasn't funny. But, yeah. So, that happened. He made fun of kids dying in a red state. And the reason why he made fun of kids dying, because it happened in a red state. And it was preventable, I guess. That's his argument. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So... there's every state that ends up like having a natural disaster and then people end up dying, we should just make fun of the politicians because it's a natural disaster, but we shouldn't feel bad for the kids for the natural disaster. No, we should make fun of the politicians that made it so that the natural disaster happened. Yeah, because natural disasters are not things that we can instantly predict all the time everywhere. Yeah, okay, good one, Destiny. So that was the second engine catching on fire for the engine analogy, right? So now he has no more engines. He's slowly gliding down. And I think he found an airport, right? He probably found an airport because usually when one of your engines on fire, you reroute to to the closest airport, and you can successfully glide your plane to that airport and land it perfectly. That's a pretty easy thing to do. But I don't think he landed at an airport. I think he finally crashed and burned because of the whole Charlie Kirk situation and the way that he's responding to it, because his response for the Charlie Kirk stuff is, well, it's bad. Political violence is bad, but I'm not going to say it's bad until the other side says it's bad first. So, in other words, Destiny is acting like a 10-year-old child because he wants the other side to say what he wants first before he says it. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Right after someone dies, he's like, well, I think it's bad, but I'm not going to advocate for that until you guys say it's bad first. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Good one, Destiny. You are a child, a 10-year-old child. And that's why you deserve to crash and burn in the political sphere of respect. Yeah, you deserve no respect in that field. I guess you continue doing your gooning stuff for freaking... like, just why even bother? Like, just go back to what you like doing. Like, you literally said that you like the lifestyle of being that type of person. You said it to Abba and Preach. Yeah, like there was an argument. There was a clip of you saying that you love this. This is the thing that you enjoy. Yeah, sir. So what? There's a little bit of like drama that goes around it. Him downplaying his drama, but he says it's only a little bit. I guess he only feels like it's a little bit. Obviously, I don't think that, but I don't really care. He could think what he wants for that, or downplay it as much as he wants. But he did say that, and now he's getting what he deserves. He played stupid games, and now he won a stupid prize. And now he wants to play a different game, but guess what? You can't just erase the old game that you played. Like, that save file keeps going. That keeps, like, people see the memory of that. Like, he's trying to pretend that doesn't exist anymore, and now he's sitting in he's like $600,000 deep in this lawsuit right now. Or almost millions of dollars deep into this lawsuit from 6 months ago, because of something that he did 1 to 3 years ago. And it's coming to bite him in the ass, like Abba said. And now he deserves it. And now I'm not going to bother defending him because he's acting like a child. He's literally acting like a child. So why should I defend a child? Like, oh, I won't condemn it until the other side does it first. Like, he's a big baby bitch. That's all he's being right now.
Conservatives and black people.
Destiny. I did a little Destiny tirade right there. But you know what? Had to be said.
On the left, too, for that matter. So anybody that says that he was racist is just ignorant.
But he also had ideas that maybe were horrific or you disagreed with. He would debate you on them and change his mind if you offered a position. That was the thing.
Yes.
So I don't care.
Yep.
You give me a list of all the bad things he said, debate him on it. That was the point.
There's no reason
Yes. Holy shit. Yes. Based. Ian. Thank you.
whatsoever for this to happen to Charlie Kirk. Like, there's a million other people this could have happened to, and it would not have this effect. So this happening to Charlie Kirk is why this is so impactful.
This is what's scary, is that those of us who knew Charlie, and I don't just mean personally, I mean those who knew who he really was, knew that he was a really nice guy. He was not somebody who went on TV and was angry.
And I'm sure we're probably going to find some sort of... I'm not aware of it, but we're probably going to find some sort of like skeletons in the closet that Charlie Kirk might have done in his life. I just know that's going to happen because there's so many people that think he's like a Nazi, and that's why he got deleted, that they're going to dig up something. I just know it's going to come out.
Angry.
But my response to that is that he's freaking human. So, like, obviously, if he was perfect, I would be surprised if they don't find anything because he's human. Humans are imperfect, and he knows that. So he can't be perfect all the time. Like, it's statistically impossible.
For a lot of people in the space, especially on the right, who are angry and are yelling and saying, you know what, these people, I'll tell you. That wasn't Charlie. And that's one of the reasons I think it was so impactful and horrifying, is that Charlie was always really calm and nice. And at the bare minimum, the worst emotion you got from him when you debated him was him scoffing or laughing and saying, what? No, here's my idea. But he never yelled at you. He never insulted you. He would, I've seen so many of his videos. He would only, the closest he ever got is when he would give back what he was given.
Yes.
The point that I was making.
Yes.
About
if someone was being nasty and mean to Charlie in the debate, he will be mean and nasty back to you. He wouldn't automatically just do it because he thinks that you're stupid and you don't deserve it. No. If you're being nasty and mean to Charlie Kirk will be mean and nasty back. Like, that's, you give what you're getting. Like, that's just true.
These people and their views, mentioning that they're raised in this society, they go online and they're surrounded by people saying, these people are fascists. Punch Nazis. Nazis are bad. The way I've explained it before is, we all know that feeling because there are certain things you cannot do in public. There are certain things that if you do, you will be shunned or harassed or isolated, and there are things you would react to. For instance, most people on the left and the right, if they witnessed a man yelling racial slurs at another man, would be mad about it and would say, hey, you can't do that. That's not okay. That is the overwhelming majority of this country. Racists exist. So we know that feeling of, if you were sitting down at a restaurant and you saw a guy get up and start screaming at a black man and insulting him, was minding his own business, or his family, and calling him names, you would react viscerally. You work at the shop would say, get out of here. Don't you do that. So we understand that feeling. The problem is there is a generation and the liberal political faction that have been raised to believe that racist guy screaming racial slurs was you, me, was Charlie. So when someone comes out and tells them, imagine if someone said, that guy who was threatening to murder that black woman, calling her racial slurs and was taunting her and poured a milkshake on her head, walked outside and got hit by a car. People are going to be like,
yeah,
wow. And you're not really going to feel that bad. That's where liberals are right now. That's because of the lies, the intentional lies from ABC News, from CNN, from MSNBC. True. Remember MSNBC said when Charlie got shot, perhaps someone was firing celebratory gunfire?
Yeah, that was bro, that was so wild. Bro, as it was going on, I think the guy actually did get fired for saying that. That was actually kind of bullshit. The guy actually did get fired for saying that. I was like, well, no. I don't know if that was the person that got fired, but someone on MSNBC got fired because of his takes during the shooting. Like, literally, like, minutes after the shooting, MSNBC was like, well, it could have been someone firing, like, a gun for celebratory. It was a celebratory gunfire. I'm like, bro, are you that deluded to think, like... Obviously, that was a cope response because she's like, the left is good. The left couldn't have done that. So it must have been celebratory. The right is bad. So they like guns. So it must have been them, right? And that was a copian response, an instantaneous copian response, I think, actually.
They also said he was divisive.
And he said awful things, so he gets awful actions.
Right.
That's the world they're living in. And so, again, I kind of ranting because obviously it's so personal. My point, sorry, just to finalize it. These are people who imagine they're on a boat and all around them, that's the only thing they're told and they can see.
What happened, Tim? Why are you only at, wait, what? 720? What's going on, Tim? What happened to 1080p? Bro, what you doing?
They can't get to the ship or the landmass that we're on.
I mean, it really doesn't matter. I'm just pulling.
Welcome to everybody. Matter. And what terrifies me the most about it is layered in this psychology that has been developed by these media organizations is, if you talk to Charlie and he says something different from what we told you, it is because he is lying to trick you so that you abandon your values. And then every interaction these liberals have with any of us, there is a veil of, I know that if you agree with me, it's you lying to trick me, so I won't believe anything you say no matter what you say.
This is making me think.
Literally Destiny's argument against Tim Pool. Tim Pool's a liar because he took money from Russia. He believes that conspiracy theory, even though it's been proven false. But, I mean, it's been proven false that Tim Pool was knowingly taking money from the Russian government. Like, obviously that didn't happen. Like, money came from a location that was within Russia. That doesn't mean Tim Pool knew he was taking money from Russia. Like it's they played the semantic word game to discredit Tim Pool because of that, and it's bullshit. I mean, well, yeah, it's bullshit because they're trying to pretend that Tim was trying to, like, he knew he was getting money from the Russians, and he's just so stupid. Like, how could he not know that he was getting money from the Russians? I'm like, bro, Yeah, like everyone knows where all the money's coming from every place on the planet. Yeah, that's true. There's no such thing as people making a mistake in like where the money flow is coming from, especially when you have more than one source of income. Like it's stupid. It's stupid, especially with a mass media corporation that he has. Like he has multiple places where money's coming from, and he's not managing every single one of them and actively looking at every single one of them all the time. But people like to pretend, oh, that's such an easy thing to do, to know where all your money's coming from. I'm like, bro, okay, yeah, he doesn't have a bunch of lawyers and accountants doing that for him. Yeah, true. Like, this is retarded.
Think of the role of, to get back to what you were talking about earlier, Libby, and I think actually I saw a great clip of you talking about this from recently. I think at the heart of this phenomenon that we're talking about.
But it's a conspiracy theory. That's my whole point of bringing that up. It's a conspiracy theory that the left likes to bring about Tim Pool a bunch. So they're basically, every time they say the whole Tim Pool Russia thing, I'm like, oh, so you're an Alex Jones. Okay, good one. What do you think of Alex Jones? Oh, the conspiracy theories. I'm like, well, and watch them cope about it.
I think it's across the culture, and not even necessarily just political in nature, is the privileging of your emotions, especially your outrage and your anger, and basically letting your anger shape your perceptions of reality and define what you think of as true. And I think a lot of that, what is a part of the root of that, I think, is this ubiquity of therapeutic culture, where so many young people. I was just doing an interview earlier this morning, and we were talking about the stat that 72% of Gen Z girls, women, 72% of them have their mental health condition, quote unquote, as a deeply important part of their identity.
Right.
And so young people are growing up, and I'll talk about what this was like for me, because it was just so powerful. Being a 13-year-old girl who was confused and lost and insecure, wanting to feel like she belonged somewhere, to get kind of funneled into this. And I don't blame, my parents did the best they could.
What age did they put you on birth control?
That's a good question. Don't even get me started on birth control. I started birth control at 16. So I was on 5 psych drugs: lithium, Lamictal, Abilify, Effexor, and Ativan.
At the same time?
Same time.
That's crazy.
This was my last regimen back in 2010. 16 years of oral contraception. I don't even get me started on the pill.
At the best
I was on
hospitals
that
in the country.
when I was 16 too, and it was kind of weird because I wasn't sexually active.
Oh yeah.
It was like this thing where just all the girls at my prep school
Like
were
normalized.
suddenly on birth control.
Totally. For me,
every girl at my school.
For me, it was for an eating disorder.
And this was all like affluent girls, just all of them.
Same with me. And so when you grow up in this, infused in this therapeutic landscape where you're like, as someone who was in therapy every week for a decade and a half, sometimes twice a week, and I'm just talking about myself, talking about my mind, talking about my thoughts, talking about my insecurities, my anger, my emotions, and it's just getting more and more reinforced that the most important thing in my life to focus on is myself and my feelings. I think when you think about that phenomenon in an individual and how it can shape their own reality, and then you pan out and you think about how many young adults grew up in therapy, privileging their emotions, and then you think, okay, it kind of makes sense. We're in this polarized, like Tim, you were saying, people are literally living in different realities. Literally.
I mean, they constantly feel like a victim. You know, it's like I'm being oppressed by people out there. They're out to get me. Anything that they say is dangerous, and it's a lie. And look where it gets them. I don't think you can actually get anywhere really useful in life if you constantly feel like, you know, people are out to get me. They're you know, these people on the right and their ideas, and they're holding us down. Or even the mental health issue as well, where it's like, I have a brain disease. You know, my anxiety and depression is caused by my brain, and there's nothing that I can actually do to fix that problem. And unfortunately, that is a mentality. And I remember I was watching you on Tucker Carlson recently, Laura, and I think he said, you know, what would you have said to me if I said, hey, maybe, you know, medications aren't the answer, or there's not something. And I think you told him to F off or something like that. Like, it was so like deep.
Yeah, well, I cannot tell you how powerful it is to be taught to think that you have no agency or control over your life because your brain is defective. Like, I literally believed through these vital years when I was meant to be figuring out who I was as an adult in the world and like what I cared about and what my passions were, I was moving through every single day thinking, what's the point in really trying to grow or evolve as a person, because my brain is pathological. I have chemical imbalance in my brain that I'll never be able to get rid of. I can just manage it with pills. So like, what's the point in trying to become a more evolved person, to grow, to change? And I think that sense of disempowerment, that internalizing a mentally ill identity, you know, it stripped me of any belief that I could be an agent in my life. And I think, just to quickly, like, to Tim, to your question earlier, like, you know, I can't remember exactly how you framed it, but I'm really cautious to medicalize violence ever, to call it mental illness, because it really does absolve responsibility. The idea is, if you're mentally ill, you did this not because you're a bad person or a lazy person or, you know, an immoral person because you're sick, and it's not your fault. And so I think we need to be really cautious when we medicalize any kind of.
I mean, did you see the DeCarlos Brown thing? They're like, oh, he has mental illness.
He's hurting. So
Yeah,
he hurts.
it's like, does he not have a personality? Does he not have responsibility there? It's just like he was in a crisis.
This is the corporate press, which we typically describe as more left-aligned, describes people as though they are animals without higher brain function. This man who made a decision to
kind of true.
Exactly. So the way I've described it, as we discussed on the show this past week, before the horrifying moments in Utah, was if you slathered yourself up in honey and peanut butter and carried some delicious trout into the woods, who is responsible for the attack on you?
The bear himself.
And that's the argument made by Democrats, which seems insane. We don't blame the bear for smelling food and chasing after it. However, when Irina Zarutska goes and sits on a train, not slathering herself up in anything, and is brutally murdered, they say, don't blame the murderer. He was hurting, so he hurt. It is absolutely insane. This was a man who made a choice, and they said, but he's unwell. And in fact,
he's so unwell.
This is important. Sorry. Van Jones attacked Charlie Kirk as a race monger for pointing out that this man attacked Irina Zarutska, a young white girl, and not anybody else on that who was sitting near him, who were black. And Van Jones said, to say it was because of race is just race mongering after a decade of Van Jones himself, as well as many others in the corporate press, literally race mongering over instances that has no evidence that it was race motivated. And of course, then after this segment comes out, video emerges. I do believe the video was available, but became more prominent, in which it appears this man, DeCarlos, says, I got that white girl. Charlie wasn't wrong. And on national television, Van Jones singled out Charlie Kirk as a race monger spreading hate against black people. And I believe it was perhaps 2 days later that a man who is, according to I think it's a fair prediction that there is a correlation between the words of Van Jones, and I know some people might say that's distasteful for me to say, but as the press conference revealed, they said that this suspect was at home with his family when mention of Charlie Kirk coming to their town was brought up, and how the family member said he was hateful. And why did they think that Charlie Kirk was hateful? He wasn't. Because of people like Van Jones lying about what Charlie Kirk was saying. And then, sure enough, this guy went and killed Charlie Kirk.
You asked earlier, how do you...
Yep, that's exactly what happened. And we need to keep pushing that point. Like, this rhetoric of calling everyone a fascist is obviously not good. Like, people's brains are broken because of World War II. Like, and we know that, so we need to stop using these words, because normal people don't care about the technical definition of what you think is a fascist or not. Like, it's that's just true, and you're abusing that fact. And I think people like Destiny they know that people are stupid, and most people are stupid. And they're not when you say they're technically fascist, they're not actually thinking, oh, you mean the actual definition of what the ideology of fascism is, like, even means. But like, I feel like I've reiterated that point too many times during this stream, so I'm just going to continue.
You snap someone out of a world where they believe there are orbs flying around them, recording them.
Put a tag in that. I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to clarify. When I say that, I'm referring specifically to a person that I know, but let's make sure we clarify the point. What do you say to a person who was raised to believe incorrectly that around every corner are angry white supremacists looking to murder trans and black people?
And there's my answer. You were saying it's people like Charlie Kirk that are the antidote to this kind of thing. Yes. People that can constantly, but there's also, you need to mitigate risk of susceptibility. So people that are susceptible to brainwash, somehow, whether it's dietary change, probably a lot of your intelligence starts in your...
And the reason why I'm so outwardly spoken on that is because, like, I experienced the whole fear-mongering nonsense within my own family, where a specific individual keeps saying, oh, you got to be careful around white people, they might actually take you out or something. I'm like, when my entire life I have not had a single instance of maybe not a single instance, but like, I haven't had I had more issues with people that are my skin color in my life than I had people that were not my skin color, or white people specifically, I guess. Like, I was bullied by some fat, stupid, well, obviously not white individual when I was in, like, preschool. I'm in, like, second, third, fourth grade, one of those grades, when I was, like, a kid, and you would constantly bully me and stuff like that, and that was really bad. But I moved to an all-white location, and freaking all the bullies that used to bully, well, they're gone. And then I go to this other location where I'm supposed to be more afraid of my life. It turns out to be one of the safest locations ever. And turns out, well, I moved from a black majority location to a white majority location, and my life got better. So, but I guess we still need to espout the nonsense that we got to be careful around white people, even though there's we almost went into a whole lawsuit. I think that's what happened. There was always a massive lawsuit against the family that almost. I guess I won't say that because that's a personal thing, but yeah, that happened, and it was bad, and we almost got into legal. The other family almost got into legal trouble, but yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But the point of me bringing it up is that, the fear mongering of whether we gotta be careful about white people. The opposite is true from my personal experience. But yet we still need to believe that bullshit. So yeah, that's another reason why I'm kind of annoyed of this rhetoric where we need to be afraid for the fear we need to for the fear mongering against specific groups of people. I guess maybe it's a personal bias, maybe.
Gut, getting people less is more. Meditate. I mean, talk about meditation. It's do it because you'll notice it's a disembodiment yet embodiment at the same moment. You sense things.
Let me try and translate that Ianism. The food you eat can
I love Ian.
Destroy and damage your brain. But
Ian is literally the guy that was just spouting out this dude, yeah, this guy, Ian. This is Ian. You got Tim Pool.
No, it's a disembodiment yet embodiment at the same moment. You sense things.
Let me try and translate that Ianism. The food you eat can destroy and damage your brain. But as much as I agree, and as we've cheered Maha on and talking about getting the garbage out of our foods, which does disrupt our hormones, does cause, in many instances, a variety of illnesses in our psyche. The distinction here is, while that is correct and true, and probably a large portion of what we're seeing, people living in cities, as you've pointed out before, breathing in brake dust every day. When you live in these cities, you are inundated endlessly with environmental toxins, which are attacking your senses and your mind and your body. But I will draw that distinction from the other point that I'm making as well, which I do say is with respect to your point, and it's a good point. The other point, of course, being people who are raised and being poisoned by false information, which creates a worldview where they genuinely believe that cops, for instance, murdered 20,000 unarmed black men in 1 year, when the number was actually 9 out of 300 million interactions. They live in a world of fabrication, a false reality. When someone is suffering from schizophrenia, and there is something broken in their brain, where they believe that they literally hear voices and they see things that aren't there. We prescribe drugs that we believe will stop those symptoms and help them connect more with reality. There's varying degrees of success, perhaps. But there's a big difference between someone who has just seen 800 times posts on Facebook saying white supremacists will kill you over and over and over again. CNN and ABC, trusted news sources saying the right is more dangerous. There's no medication for that.
No, I think less is more a lot of times too, is reduce the things you're putting into yourself so that you can be more clear. And there are people I've seen snapping out of this narrative in the last day or two where they're like, I can't be on the left anymore. This is insane that you would celebrate this. And people that are highly disembodied don't normally have those epiphanies.
Right, because they've silenced their own brains. They've silenced their own measure of cognition. But I think what you're saying about people snapping out of it takes something, right? It takes something for people.
Destiny's argument is that the other side's worse, so why should we care about this? That's Destiny's argument, unironically, which is disgusting.
To get out of this mindset. I was raised pretty liberal, and I went to, all the liberal schools and all the, I was in the arts, for goodness sake. It's the most liberal area of our culture. And it took trans for me to be like,
you know what? I'm glad that I watched Tim Pool instead of watching the Destiny thing. Cause let me see. Was this it? How long is this? This is 50 minutes. You know what? We are doing this is a Charlie Kirk stream. So maybe we will watch this actually. It's 50 minutes. I only watched 49 minutes of this. We should watch this. We should watch this. We'll put this on pause for now. We will watch this. It's kind of abrupt, but we need to remember Charlie Kirk.
video over the last couple days. We covered it extensively yesterday of the drag show for kids in Dallas, Texas. There was one man who actually went to or tried to go to intervene and be an adult and do what was actually necessary. That's Alex Stein, number 99. I think I got that right. He's hilarious. Alex, welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show.
Charlie, you're a legend. Oh my gosh, you're calling me 99. I feel like I made it. You know, the man, the myth, the legend, Charlie. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Your reputation precedes you. The thing when you went to the school board meeting in Dallas, it's one of the funniest things I've seen in a very long time. And so you went to this drag show. They didn't let you in, so they're obviously, I don't know, homophobic or something. Like, walk us through this.
Well, listen, this is the thing about this drag show. And, you know, in our culture right now, they're doing the drag queen story time at the public library. Now, that's disgusting. That's terrible, Charlie. But at least...
I thought they were supposed to be inclusive. I don't know if that is supposed to be.
Welcome to the show. I'm not trying to act like a mess. I'm just emotionally really upset right now, obviously. Because of what happened. And I just feel so bad for Charlie and his family. I never felt so much pain for another person other than like a family member, and I just feel so bad right now. And I'm not going to just sit here and cry. I got to compose myself. But just watching that, and people don't understand that Charlie Kirk could have canceled me a million times. A million times. I did some very boneheaded things, and he always stuck with me, even when I was not representing Turning Point in the best light. And I know.
Wow. Okay, bro. I mean, that's true. He says some pretty unhinged things sometimes, and they tolerated him. And you know what? He respected that to the nth degree. For a second, I almost thought he was trolling with the crying a little bit, but it felt like he was exaggerating a bit too much. But he actually does feel that way. So I was about to say something. I was about to pause it, but I'm like, oh, let me keep watching. Let me see what happens. And I'm glad I kept on watching, but. Yeah. Okay. I understand his pain, like, a lot.
Everybody's going to.
Like, we're going to get a massive shirt. It's going to be okay, it's going to suck that it's going to be right next to this dude. But until he does something that's unforgivable. Or he completely jumps. I don't know. Because, like, a lot of people will make the argument that he's already did things that were just too terrible, like the kids that are dying. I'm going to keep it up there because he's someone on the left that is actually intelligent, so he is smart, he's intelligent a little bit. But I'm going to get, like, a whole big old Charlie Kirk shirt and put it on the top here. So everyone remembers. It's probably going to hang up on the freaking thing behind me on these little things. Yeah, I think. Yeah, probably.
Right now, everybody's very in a lot of pain, especially seeing something as graphic and as horrible as what we all witnessed. But I am having trouble right now finding anything positive about this situation because I know there's people out there, and it's very true that Charlie's legacy will live on forever, but the world is significantly worse today without...
Okay, he's really emotional. Because the positive thing that comes out of this is we need to make sure that Charlie Kirk is remembered. His legacy needs to be put in the history books. Right next to Martin Luther King Jr. And that is just true. That is what needs to happen.
Charlie Kirk than it was yesterday. And Charlie had my back so much, and he didn't have any motivation other than he actually believed in the First Amendment. He believed in the Second Amendment. He believed in the whole entire Constitution. And the problem with society and the world that we live in is that we live in such a sick, disgusting world that a person that is truly good, like Charlie Kirk, gets taken out. Because everybody that I meet in politics has some sort of skeleton in their closet, is, you know, whatever. Nobody's perfect. But the closest thing to perfection
is
when it
Charlie
comes to
Kirk.
a human being and following God's commandments and defending the Constitution, there's no better example in the entire universe than Charlie Kirk.
True and based.
You are perfect like that, and when you don't have skeletons in your closet and you cannot be blackmailed, they will publicly execute you in front of thousands of people, and they will make you scared on purpose. And obviously, I'm not going to get into any of the conspiracy surrounding what's going on with Charlie's horrible, horrific murder. But there's a lot of questions that have not been answered that we're all struggling with. And I'm so frustrated with just this entire situation because I, once again, like I was saying earlier, cannot find a silver lining whatsoever. When you're 31,
yeah, he's too. You're too emotionally blocked here to think rationally. I understand it. I didn't want to talk about it when it just happened too. This is literally a day ago, so this was a day right after it happened. Not even a full day it happened. So I understand why he cognitively, mentally cannot see the good, any good that could come out of this. Now, the good that needs to come out of this is the good that we need to make come out of this. There's nothing good about Charlie Kirk dying. There's nothing good about that. But we can make something good about that. And the way that we make something good about that is so that he doesn't die in vain. Continue his speech, continue his thing, play his clips. Wait, does he play a bunch of clips of him? Like, the only reason I'm watching this because I thought he was going to play, yeah, there we go. A couple of clips of Charlie Kirk and how, like, he's basically, like, all the good that he's done. That's what I wanted to watch this for. So I'm going to skip around just a little bit.
Trust me, Charlie has debated a lot of very smart people. Our liberties, our ability to speak freely is literally under attack. And Charlie was the best fighter for the First Amendment by going to colleges, inviting literally anybody. Do you realize how hard that is? Do you realize how hard that is? To just, these people can pick any topic and they're going to go there and they're going to try to stump Charlie Kirk. He sets himself up to fail and he always succeeds. You have no idea how challenging that is, just having anybody come up. And yes, a lot of people that come up there, is not that smart. But trust me, Charlie has debated a lot of very smart people, and he's come out on top. Not logical arguments that are hard to debate, and Charlie always found a way. And he would want us to continue carrying on his legacy. There's no doubt about that. But
yes.
I know that I can't do that. I know that
you can do that. You're doing it right now by showing all of the good things that Charlie Kirk has been doing. You're doing it right now. Give yourself credit.
Nobody can do that because Charlie's legacy was one of one. He's just such a unique guy that it's just he's irreplaceable. Irreplaceable.
He is.
So I don't know how much we should show, but I do want to. I guess I already got emotional. Like I am just such a wreck right now, and I feel like I'm going to get even more emotional if we play that video. But I mean, I guess let's play it, and you guys can see they edited it.
Which one?
Is that the first one where
the one where the kid got mistook you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's SOT 1.
Let's play SOT 1.
Charlie!
Hi, Alex. How are you?
So good to see you. Everybody calls me the fake Charlie Kirk, How you doing, young man?
I thought you were Charlie Kirk.
I am Charlie.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Charlie Kirk?
Yes. Why do you think I have this crew?
Are you actually?
Yes, let's take a selfie. What do you mean? Who do you think I am?
You're Charlie Kirk?
Yes, 31 USA.
Yo! Bro, it's Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk is here.
Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk.
Hey, actually, Charlie Kirk.
I'm actually Charlie Kirk. Yes, dude, I'm Charlie.
Really?
Yes, dude, take a selfie. How do you not know this? Why do I have a camera crew, dude? I'm obviously Charlie. Like,
God damn.
Look at me, I'm this well known.
Yo,
Charlie Kirk, turning point. UTA. Charlie Kirk, I'm speaking at University of Nevada.
Oh man.
Reno and University of Washington.
See, he's a troll. He is a troll. So seeing him so down about this, it's honestly, he respected Charlie Kirk, and Charlie deserves this. And you know what? His reaction is perfectly valid. I 100% respect it.
Seattle, all because of you.
Hilariously, I'm speaking in Nevada Reno, so
Yeah.
we can kind of like...
I know, I'm trying to follow. I'm the fake Charlie Kirk. I follow you around, dude.
Who's actually speaking, right?
Yeah.
I could go to, like,
we need to do a sketch like that.
So I could go do the Alex Stein day?
Yeah, or,
You
no,
could-
not even that, but you need to just like mix me in, and you can just say I couldn't make it, and then you really come out.
Oh, I think it's great.
And I'll tell Andrew to text me. Yeah, that one guy really thought I was at Israel Palestine. He's like, you're Charlie Kirk. I'm like, yes, I'm the dollar store version. All right, well, just want to say hey.
Thanks, man.
I know you're on the grind. Thanks, Charlie.
Charlie thought it was funny. He thought that video was funny. He didn't care at all. They didn't have any hard feelings. Like, I'm just so sad. So sad. Everybody's so sad. Everybody is. Everybody should be sad. Everybody should be sad. Everybody should be really, 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 really sad. And if you're not, you just, it is what it is. You're not dialed into what's going on in the world. And, there's a saying, ignorance is bliss. And sometimes I kind of do wish. It's like the movie The Matrix. I think it's like Cyrus. I forget which character. Like he just.
All right, so he doesn't have any more. He doesn't have any more clips. Doesn't seem like he has any more clips. So we're gonna go back to the original video. But I need to get this Casper stuff. Like, Where's the Casper stuff? There's nothing. I got my. Gotta flip it around. I got the hat. We got the hat. We got the Daily Wire stuff right there. The yes or no thing. We got the Crowder stuff right on top of it. We got the Daily Wire thing. The cup right there. We got the Destiny stuff. Now I need some Tim Pool stuff, and I think I might put it right next to where that little yellow thing is right there. Should be good. Should be great. And we're gonna have Charlie Kirk, an actual poster of him. Yes, that'll be cool too. But yeah, we're gonna go back to the video because there's nothing else to really watch
Wait
about
a second,
that.
that's not right.
Like it's sad. I don't really want to relitigate how sad it is. Let's just we need to move on and continue his legacy.
Women, no matter what you do, no matter what you cut off or ingest or how you look or put on lipstick, you're not a woman. And so it takes something for people to be like, and then after that, I was like, oh, wait, if that's wrong, what else is wrong? Oh, all of these other things are completely wrong, are completely misidentified in our culture and are made up. But we have a situation now where not only are kids medicated and disassociated from themselves and started at a young age so that, and the same is true with the puberty blockers and the cross-sex hormones. It messes you up to the point where you don't grow up into the person who you are. You grow up into something else, something that's sort of malformed. So what happens is, if that's what happens to you and you grow up this way and you're constantly scrolling and you never take in, and you're constantly navel gazing, like you were saying, you're constantly like looking inside yourself for all the truth of the universe, and your school is not great, which we know our education system is the pits right now. Where are you getting something? And nobody's taking their kids to church, you don't see a lot of that. I mean, my church is packed, which is awesome. It's the best church I've ever been to. But you're doing all of this to this kid. You're never feeding them Charles Dickens. You're never feeding them just some carrots and hummus. You're never feeding them their own, ability to explore the world. And you're just constantly feeding them a heavy dose of their own inner monologue. Like, that's devastating. They're getting no fresh input. It's just all this closed circuit.
I think a lot of this, when I think about my own trajectory, because my kind of awakening was that you had, my equivalent was waking up to the fact that I'd basically been indoctrinated into a psychiatric framework for understanding myself. So that was my first onion layer that then began questioning many other onion layers. And when I think what the challenge here that you're getting at is my own waking up process was a completely internally sourced aha moment. No one could have, the information was around me for years that there's no such thing as a chemical imbalance. And like Tim, even schizophrenia, even these serious diagnoses, it might sound shocking, but to date, there is zero evidence that even like bipolar was my main label. Schizophrenia, bipolar, these serious labels, that there's actually any measurable pathology that's causing them. So like the indoctrination goes deep. We're so trained to think it. No one could have forced me to see that. No one could have coerced me into changing my mind. Like you said, Libby, it's this like internal aha moment that you have within yourself. And
you had that rock bottom, right? When you got involuntarily hospitalized and you realized your freedoms were getting taken away. And that sent you on a new trajectory where you're just like, this is not for me.
That is what woke me up, was realizing this system I'd been turning to for help for all these years, to care for me, is actually a system of control. I just hadn't seen it before because I had always said yes. And now that I'm saying no, I'm literally having my civil liberties stripped away from me and my bodily integrity violated by a drug I don't want to take. And I do think that's sometimes it is a forcing mechanism that is traumatic, that does wake you up. And you obviously don't want that to have to be what everyone has to go through to wake up. But
it often is, right? You need to have a rock bottom moment. Like if you have an ideology or a way of looking at the world that does not serve you and your life begins to suffer. And this could be thinking that, half of America is racist and because of that you don't get along with them. That's going to have an impact on your life. It's going to have an impact on your work. And ultimately, things don't work out for you. And when things don't work out for you, you become unhappy. And I guess one of the problems that we have with that is people aren't reflecting on these ways of moving through the world that aren't helping. They can then go to a doctor and just take a medication, and they can numb themselves to the fact that their life isn't working out, rather than looking at why.
Yeah, they said when someone was saying that if you spend a lot of your time doing easy things, you become a prey animal. You become in like video games. If you're just always doing like no risk things, you become. And I've noticed with drugs, if I'm ever smoke pot, I'm like, what my main focus is feeling better. It's about my body and my self-feeling. When I'm not, I care about my environment. How can I make my environment better? And if you make your environment better, you will feel better in the long run. That's what people are missing. They're chasing the high. They're chasing the feeling. And sometimes you just got to hit rock bottom. You got to fall apart. You got to break. And then you can rebuild.
Pain is good. You need that pain as direction in your life. And that's why we have such a big problem with just numbing it out all the time. This is the smoke alarm going off in your brain saying, hey, something is not working.
That
and
is
You
true.
need to fix it.
You know what's funny? You mentioned change your environment, and you're talking about the smoke alarm. And years ago, I went to my doctor because I was having like a horrible time sleeping. I just could not sleep. I would fall asleep, then I would wake up, and I just could not sleep. And it had been like,
Wait, the smoke alarm? Is that a microaggression? What's wrong with the smoke alarm? What's wrong with not having a full battery in the smoke alarm? I'm just kidding. just kidding. I'm just kidding.
2 months, 3 months of like terrible sleep.
Oh,
and my
man.
doctor was like, oh, okay, well, why don't we get you some Ambien, just like a heavy duty sleeping pill. So then I start taking the Ambien, and you know, it's sort of fun because you get loopy, but I was like taking this Ambien, and then the same thing would happen, except instead of waking up all night, I was having nightmares all night. And I would wake up and I'd be like, oh, that's not better. Nightmares aren't better. And so after a week of that, I went to Sleepy's over the weekend and I bought all new pillows. And I literally, now I just buy new pillows if I'm having trouble sleeping. I never had that problem again. I went back to sleep. I was like, oh, perfect. Comfy, sleep. I wake up, my covers are all smooth, haven't moved.
And that was like an easy fix. But imagine if the problem, like that you weren't sleeping, was there was an issue in your relationship, right?
Mhm.
Or there was an issue at work that really needed to be addressed, and you were ruminating on it. And you go and see a doctor, and they go, Libby, it's the chemical imbalance. You know, take the Ambien. That problem just like festers there, and it doesn't go away. And then you're hooked on a drug instead of actually getting to the root of what was going on.
Right. It's not because you're eating ice cream at midnight. That's not the issue. You know.
And sometimes, you know, I worry this there's been talk recently about transgenderism, the medications, and violence, really. And I know a couple of weeks ago there was this horrific attack at the Catholic Church.
In Minneapolis.
In Minneapolis, where was it Robin or
it was Robert, who called himself Robin Westman.
Mm-hmm. Went and did that, and then there were these notes about regretting transitioning. And to me, I just see that as the end outcome. You have someone who is confused, who ends up getting cheerleaded into transitioning, who knows what kind of hormone medications they were exposed to and what kind of psychiatric medications they were exposed to. And at the end, they become so bitter and angry with the world, like this bad ideology, and the fact that no one ever tried to direct this person back away from that. And kind of just, I imagine this person getting cheerleaded through transitioning and then onto medication and then just becoming so unstable, they take it out on society. I mean, it's just...
Not just regret, but not only did he have regret, he was embarrassed that he'd ever done it in the first place and didn't see a way out, didn't see a way to save face and get out of it.
Yeah, and this might sound a little cheesy, but I do think that this is where storytelling becomes so important, because that sense of hopelessness is too late for me. Like when I think about it in the context of people who are waking up to, you know, being psychiatrized is the term I like to use. And you realize these two decades of these meds I've been on, have they permanently damaged me? Am I ever going to have a chance? You need stories of people who've gotten through. You need stories of people who've had the same experience, come through the other side. I mean, it's why I wrote my book, and it's why I think when you speak as a psychiatrist, when I speak as a former patient, you know, framing it in our own personal journey, like you, Libby, talking about your own journey. I think that's what enables. Like to me, it's not going to be information and science and data and facts that changes people's minds. It's going to be helping people connect or even reconnect with their own hearts, which happens through telling stories. And I think that's a really important, and you know that.
Yes, true. And this is why Destiny does not understand how normal people think. He thinks everything can be solved by just facts and logic, when that's obviously not true. So I think Destiny should just move to another country, because his way of thinking and how the world should work is obviously completely like not the way how most people think and operate. Like it's just not. It just isn't the way he thinks it is. This is why Destiny will never understand, and why his brain is breaking right now in the whole political sphere movement, because he just doesn't understand how normal people think. And she just completely like, listen to this again. This is perfect. This is exactly what Destiny needs to hear.
People who've had the same experience, come through the other side. I mean, it's why I wrote my book, and it's why I think when you speak as a psychiatrist, when I speak as a former patient, you know, framing it in our own personal journey, like you, Libby, talking about your own journey. I think that's what enables. Like to me, it's not going to be information and science and data and facts that changes people's minds. It's going to be helping people connect or even reconnect with their own hearts, which happens through telling stories. And I think that's a really important, and you know, that people like Charlie, like people who care so deeply about bringing people together to share about their own perspectives, their own experiences, to create space where you can hear someone talking about their own journey through life, their own belief system. It's in those kinds of encounters that the opportunity to have your own aha moment, your own shift, your own inspiration to actually change your mind.
And I know why he ended up getting deleted. Like, he was way too Charlie Kirk was just way too influential. Like, he was changing people's minds just by talking and being nonviolent at an exponential increasing rate. So like, if you take the morals and the feelings out of it completely, and you just look at it pure logically, that was the route that looked like that was a thing that the other side that thinks that Nazis are taking over the country, that's a calculate. I can understand the calculation getting to that. Like, I can understand how that happened, right? I'm not saying this is something that's good or anything. I'm taking the morals out of it 100%. Like, with the morals in it, obviously this was stupid and disgusting and terrible and should never happen. But I can understand how and why it ended up coming into be, because people are just completely delusional on what's true and what's not true. And Tim Pool said it perfectly in the beginning of this, but I'm not gonna go back.
To evolve, to grow. I think it sounds cheesy, but to me, it's like that's where the power is.
In the modern age,
there's a
particularly,
reason it's cheesy. It's cheesy because it's real.
And it's amplified in the modern age with mass media, because if 5 people sit around and each give their personal anecdotes,
it's cheesy because it's real. True.
In a day, 150 years ago, it would have happened, blink of an eye. Maybe there would have been some spiritual ramification. Now, with internet video, it's persistent. People for 100 years will listen to that and remember. So as it can go bad with mass media and mass formation, you can mass form it into a really good mindset.
Well, I just want to say this, though. I think we're at like an inflection point where society is almost like post-apocalyptic right now. Like, I don't even know if there is a way to even go back with like the access to pornography on the internet. I mean, now that we have the internet.
This Charlie Kirk stuff, I think this is so much more important than the Israel-Palestine thing. Like, the right is completely unified now for the Charlie Kirk thing. Like, the Israel-Palestine stuff, whatever. ATF, whatever. We don't care. Like, they're doing their thing. What's the bigger problem here is people on the left deleting Charlie Kirks on the right. That's the bigger problem. And honestly, that focus needs to shift too. I'm glad that the focus is shifting towards that on the right. And then the left can still, like, I guess, play their war games with each other and what they think should be best for Palestinians or Israel and stuff like that.
Internet, like, we're done. I mean, I don't know how a kid can even grow up and not like.
And the only reason I say that is because, like, this guy is an advocate. Like, he really does not like Israel. I would say he has Israel derangement disorder. But for him to not even bring it up during this type of crisis shows how united this event, like, ended up making the right that was slowly kind of crackling and splitting off into their own groups, basically reunite again. And I think that's glorious to see.
I guess be aged at such a rapid rate that doesn't even like match up.
Maybe he might talk about it within the next hour, but I'm not sure. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he even wants to bring it up, like, to be honest.
Puberty, so I think a lot of kids are mentally ill from the internet, and then they say when you start smoking marijuana, it actually stunts your maturity level at the age you start smoking marijuana. So, like, we have a society of kids that are all on weed, all looking at porn, and it's just a dark world. And I'm not trying to be hopeless, but it's really hard
I want to ask,
such a bad world.
I want to ask: is there a medical term to describe a developed psychosis, a developed delusion?
Like one that you come up with?
No. I'm saying if you're surrounded by 100 people and they just keep telling you that Santa Claus at any moment is going to jump out and stab you, and then you start telling medical professionals that you're terrified and shaking and have anxiety because you know Santa's coming for you. Is there a word to describe that? That's
delusional disorder.
Even though it was something told to you that was so if a news anchor says, "Watch out," literally to 1 million people, Santa Claus is coming to get you, and then they start believing it, we call that standard delusional disorder.
Or reality, if enough people believe it.
Well, that's my point to what Alex is saying. We're dealing with a couple different phenomena.
True. It does become reality if enough people believe it. It literally did just become reality. He ended up dying because people actually thought that Charlie Kirk was like some sort of Nazi. Like, that is true. It's assumptively true.
I've described this one in great detail, that in the end of the 2000s, Facebook switched from reverse chronological to algorithmic.
Which is insane.
Meaning that we used to just see the posts of people.
Which is what I said is insane, not what he just said, chronological, whatever. That I wasn't commenting on what he said.
We chose to see. Facebook, realizing that the amount of pages and friends a person had become too great and the feed moved too quickly, decided that to keep people on the page, they needed to prioritize posts with more engagement, and thus created the algorithmic social platform. What ended up happening was, if I post, I'm going to the grocery store, nobody sees it. If you post a video of police being a black man, literally everybody sees it. There were 10-year-olds at the time, and this is true. This did happen. So let me describe it a little bit more broadly. There were children at the time who were not supposed to be on Facebook, but of course were. Maybe they were 12, maybe they were 13. I think 13-year-olds are allowed to be on the platform. Facebook prioritized showing high engagement posts, so they began just showing nothing but police brutality videos. In fact, at the time, even Alex Jones and Paul Joseph Watson largely were covering the police brutality angle, as it was and if you were government critical or concerned about police overreach, it applied to you. And if you were left-aligned, anti-racist or whatever, which was not as prominent, it applied to you. There were websites that emerged, such as Mike.com, which was a Ron Paul libertarian love revolution site. And when they posted about police brutality, because it did align with libertarian values, the bigger reaction they got was from those who opposed racism. And so initially you post police brutality, you'll get X views. You then post a video of racism, you get Y views. But if you post a video about racist police brutality, you get XY. It is not, in fact, X plus Y is X times Y. And the reason why is the way the algorithms all work is in the early days of Reddit, the way their algorithm worked was the first, for those not familiar with Reddit, you can make a post and people can choose up or down. Mm-hmm. Choose down, it disappears. If you choose up, it moves up. The first 10 votes in the first minute are equal to, and I think this was a while ago, 100 votes in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So it was, what ends up happening is the algorithm is an exponential return rate. If there are 10 people who pay attention to police brutality and 10 people who pay attention to racism, and then you post racist police brutality, 20 people see it, it is a rapidly exponential boost in the algorithm, resulting in a series of early websites dedicated just to police brutality. In fact, one website cracked the top 500 websites in the world, literally only posting police brutality. It was like 430. And there are people there making six figures to millions of dollars. And all they would do every day is dig through archives to post and repost police brutality. Now, for a discerning adult, eventually you say, I get it. But for a child, entering the world for the first time, the political world, on social media, the only thing you see in your feed, every video is a cop beating a black man.
And that is your baseline. That becomes your baseline. People forget, and people don't understand. It's actually, I understand why this is a thing, and I kind of get it why they don't understand it. But I feel like they just need to open their brains a little bit. But like, people don't understand baselines and what you grew up with is your baseline. Like, I guess it's because you only have one perspective in your head, and that's the only perspective that matters. The one that you like, the perspective that you have is probably this perspective that you should keep, and that's probably why they think that's why they can't understand other people's perspective on things, because they just don't know it probably. But regardless, let me go back just a little bit, because this is a good point, because when kids grow up, whatever situation they're in, it becomes their baseline. If their situation is poor, terrible, and bad, that's their baseline. So when they get a little bit less terrible, a little bit less poor, it's not that they're getting a little bit less terrible, a little less poor. They're getting a little bit less normal and getting towards good. Like, that's their reality. Their reality is that they're going from normal baseline to good, even though by everyone else's standards, they're at like a really bad like place right now. But like, they don't see it that way, therefore they won't emotionally be like that, because like ignorance is bliss. Like, literally ignorance is bliss. They will physically, mentally be more happy than the people up here, even though the people up here have it way better than the people down here. If these people don't know how good it can be, they will be happy with what they have. People will be content, and that's how people are. That's just the way people work. And people, like, I feel like people just pretend to not understand that when they think about what's going on in other places in the world. And I'm like, if like, you ask someone, what do you think the people in Venezuela that don't know what America is feel when they get a little bit of extra money from their job. They're going to be super happy about it and maybe have a party or a barbecue or something like that. And you're like, well, how could that happen? Like they're living in such poor conditions. And I'm like, you really don't understand how they don't know that the poor conditions that they don't know that their baseline is so low. They have no experience of anything being higher or anything being lower for that matter. Or maybe they had things being lower and then they got up to this place where they are now and they're content with that, and that's just normal. But some people just don't understand that. And Tim makes a really good point. Yeah. This is why I like Tim. This is why I watch Tim. He makes good points.
Eventually you say, I get it.
Oh, but he's the Russian spy thing. Oh, the Russian spy. Oh, you got paid by Russia. Like, it's just retarded. Anyone that says that about Tim is just retarded.
But for a child.
No, they're conspiracy theorists. Yes, they're Alex Jones, but on the left. Yeah, that's what I need to keep pushing.
In the world for the first time, the political world, on social media, the only thing you see in your feed, every video is a cop beating a black man. Now, in reality, these videos were spread out over a decade. These videos were a handful this year, a handful this year. They weren't always a cop murdering somebody, and there certainly are many videos of cops getting into fights with people. People who were posting these videos began to realize it doesn't matter what's true, it matters what we can post. We saw the rise of fake news websites that would just make things up. One of the viral stories was that BLM protesters blocked an ambulance carrying a dying young teenage girl. Got millions of views, was fake. They just literally made it up. But they made, 10 grand or whatever writing a story like that. This was what social media was. And so for someone who is 12 or 13, going on social media for the first time, for the next 5 years, the only thing they see, and I mean that hyperbolically, typically, majority of what they see will be, and I mean this sincerely, either police brutality videos against black people or people getting married, which were the highest profile, the highest algorithmic search or posts. So if someone wrote, I'm getting married and having a kid, you would appear at the top of everyone's feed because it typically would result in high engagement. People would exploit this by writing, I am getting married and having a kid. Psych, no, I'm not. I did that so that you would see this. We're having a party tomorrow. Come hang out. Mm-hmm. Now imagine what happens to a 13-year-old from 13 to 15 being told every single day, every time they open the app and scroll, that cops are just murdering black people. You get the George Floyd riots. Yeah. It is not that their brains are broken in some way. It is that their brains have been programmed in this way by the algorithms. I do not believe, and I'm not a medical expert.
I mean, he's not incorrect. It's just that to frame it like that is kind of. I mean, he's correct, but like I would like him to frame it a little bit nicer than that. Like their brains aren't broken, which is true, but they're filled with misinformation. So, I mean, you could argue that their brains are broken because it's filled with misinformation, but they're going to come to broken conclusions. Like their brains aren't broken, but they're filled with broken information, so they're going to get to broken conclusions. I think that would be the way to maybe say that or frame it.
I do not believe it is possible to deprogram a child who has dealt with developmental years, wired half their life in this direction. And I will add to this, right now we are dealing with the ongoing, what we call ElsaGate, which started in 2018, has never stopped. They claim they stopped it, but it's not. Now there's the Jackson Agatha conspiracy that's going on where, what is it, The Great Circus or something? I don't know these shows. I don't watch these kid shows.
Wait, ElsaGate's like the child prawn that's on YouTube?
ElsaGate was when people started making half-an-hour-long videos with no words, dressed like Elsa, Spider-Man, and Joker, chasing each other around. Elsa was pregnant. They would inject her with giant syringes, and it resulted in algorithmically generated content from people in India to make money of children eating feces out of toilets, of Peppa Pig having sex. To this day, we thought it ended, but it never did. To this day, there are videos of Sonic the Hedgehog being forcefully impregnated by machines that are being given to children on the YouTube Kids app. So when we
there's nudity on YouTube. If you type in naked yoga,
yes, of course,
it's insane.
And they argue it's educational. Yeah, YouTube has videos explaining how to use sex toys for children. There's not an exaggeration.
Well, so does the school system in Vancouver.
Indeed, it does. But the point that I'm making is not about what is overt to an adult. The point I'm making is that there is a 6-year-old right now whose mother has given him a tablet, and he is watching videos of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I am not exaggerating, being grabbed by metallic arms, having an arm jammed into his body to impregnate him. And there are videos of conveyor belts where they attach large butt cheeks to Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and what's her name? Rosa or whatever? I don't know the character. I only know Sonic and Knuckles and Tails because that's the game that I had. Children are watching these things. When we talk about Facebook blasting people with police brutality videos, or how about these memes that are lying about Charlie Kirk, for instance? A 15-year-old 10 years ago saw nothing but lies from the left that generate content. The fake news epidemic and misinformation they warned us about has never been dealt with on the left because they were willing to ban the right, but not the left. Even Twitch to this day.
And that's the big.
And I can't even dispute what he's saying because obviously someone believed obviously someone believed the fact that Charlie Kirk was literally like a Nazi or something, and then or fascist or whatever, and associated with Nazism because like people are retarded. They're going to associate fascism with Nazism automatically, and Nazis bad. So and Nazis did terrible things. So if Charlie Kirk is like even remotely close to that, then maybe he should get like. But that is the mentality that they have. So I can't even like say, oh no, Tim, you're kind of exaggerating here. But someone did die, so I can't even say that to you, Tim. So what Tim is saying sounds kind of wild, but hey, someone just died because of this rhetoric. So
problem. Like, I mean, places like YouTube, I mean, they have a liberal bias, and so you're going to sit there in your echo chamber digesting all of this content about, Charlie Kirk's so racist, Charlie Kirk is against, transgender folks, Matt Walsh, all of these, all of these folks, and it will radicalize them against it, because opposing points of view, like when you're in a left-leaning, like if you're a YouTube or something like that, and your content moderators are all left-leaning, the other side is getting shut down, it is getting throttled, and so that's why you get people radicalized like that, and they're just going to hear. We need to go out and we need to fight against the conservative influences because transgender people are dying, and it's because of them. It's because of Catholics, and you get this school shooting that happened 2 weeks, the church shooting that happened 2 weeks ago, and so yes, it gets views, but it is radicalizing people in this really dark and twisted way.
I kind of think sorry, just real quick, I want to highlight some of this. I want to give a shout out to Caleb is Salty on YouTube, if we could pull up this image, who made a great hour-long documentary breaking down this phenomenon. It is shocking to me in that.
Oh, crap. Damn.
7 years ago, I covered this on this channel. We called it Elsagate. That this phenomenon had been happening where they were showing Peppa Pig and cartoon animals being forcefully impregnated and injected. The content was getting so many views that it actually resulted in real-world instances where an adult man, and there was one video that had 7 million views, was injecting his daughter in the butt with a syringe. The assumption was that it was.
Bro, and the video he's bringing up is literally 2 million views 2 months ago. On a channel that only has 46,000 subscribers. Okay, all right. So this. Okay, there we go. He has the receipts of the crazy nonsense that's going on YouTube in kids' YouTube. Apparently, that's
saline. But the video itself generated so much attention that he would make a video as such. Caleb is Salty put out this video 3 months ago. Brewing cute pregnant factory, and there's Sonic the Hedgehog pregnant. Here's Rose and Knuckles with big butt cheeks and Sonic with crazy teeth. This is on the YouTube Kids app. And the point I'm bringing up, to go back to the original point I'm making.
That's wild.
I cite these things because as a reasonable adult on the left or the right, you understand this is twisting and fracturing the brain of a child.
Yeah.
They will suffer developmental disabilities and delusions later in life, as well as other psychiatric disorders based on being inundated every day with this psychotic content. What the average.
And this is mostly because parents don't want to. They don't want to raise their kids. They want to raise their kids on easy mode. Like they get kids and then they're like, all right, just give them a tablet and then things will be fine, right? No, they don't want to like give more. They don't want to. Like when you have kids, you don't like it's going to be rough. That like you're going in to raise another human being. You need to be there 100% of the time. But they want to pilot. They want to have kids, but have it on autopilot. Like we have technology, just give them a tablet and everything will be fine. I'm like, oh, okay. So you're just lazy parents. You're just a bunch of lazy parents, honestly. Like parents that give kids tablets because they can't deal with them anymore. They're lazy parents, and they probably shouldn't have had kids in the first place if that's like the way that they're gonna go through it. Like, oh, no, I don't know how. I didn't know it was gonna be this tough or something like that. Well, then you shouldn't have had kids. Like, obviously, that was an error on your part. The child doesn't like deserve to be treated that way because you underestimated or overestimated the negative or positives from having children. Like, that's just insane. And it's only for the first first 5, 6, 7 years of their life, you need to really be activated or within their life, basically. And then the teen years will be much easier. Like if you neglect their kids and then the teen years come up and you're wondering why are they being so rebellious and what, like you don't even know where this came from. Oh, when the parents say, I don't even know how this kid became like this. I have no idea. Where did this come from? Like, yeah, okay. That just shows how much you've actually paid attention to your kids. Like that just shows everything. you don't know why your kid is acting the way that they are, then you are obviously being not a good parent. I wouldn't say you're a terrible parent, but you're obviously being a not good parent. Like if you were paying attention to your kid's life, you would understand why they're doing the things that they're doing. But some parents are like, "Oh, you're gonna tell me how to teach my kids?" Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm trying to prevent a bunch of school shooters from happening. Yeah, thank you. Well, yeah, this affects me. Your kids, if you don't make kids grow up the way that there's like if you like, how do I say this? You can teach kids to do really terrible things. Let's just say that. And neglect can do some mental stress and do some unbelievable mental things towards children. And they could outlash in very spectacular ways. Because the whole baseline thing that I talked about before.
Adult on the left does not understand is they are being inundated with the exact same content in the political space. So when someone like Brian Tyler Cohen has a channel that is literally nothing but screenshots of Donald Trump and titles saying Trump evil, Trump wrong, Trump fascist, and maybe only 1 in 10 is actually about someone else, it is an Elsa gate for adults. Now the problem is when an adult looks at Sonic Pregnant, they say, okay, this is crazy, you shouldn't watch this. But when
honestly, I'm gonna finish the stream here, and so do what's on screen right here. Thank you very much, and thanks for watching the stream. It was great. It was fun, and remember Charlie Kirk, because he is equivalent to Martin Luther King Jr. True, based, and goodbye, I guess. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.